And the bar on top of the screen, excuse me.
Way to start. Way to start.
Yes, sir. Is saying that it is live.
We are currently live.
That is correct. This is the podcast that I call Small Towns, Small Minds. I do live in a small town of Havre, Montana, which is in the middle of nowhere in north central Montana. And my name is Bob Walker, and here with me is my good friend, my hetero life mate, Merrill Andrew Gray.
Yes, that's Merrill Gray here. Your naming of your Ustream channel, Small Town, Small Minds, has some significance behind it, right?
It does, yes. I call it Small Town, Small Minds because the first part is, like I said, we live in a town of about 9,000 people here near the Canadian border. And the thing about small towns, at least as far as I noticed, because, my stock in trade is kind of people, but in small towns you find a lot of small-minded people, and the reason for that is kind of self-preservation. Nobody wants to pay a whole lot of attention to a whole lot of things because life is very simple, and people want to keep it that way. And of course, I don't disagree with that concept or that idea.
Well, it also goes along the lines of having fewer interactions with people that have experiences, because you're only relegated to experiences that you experience in a small town.
Mm-hmm.
Especially here in Montana, you're surrounded by an ocean of prairie.
Yeah.
Within, and then in the middle of this ocean of prairie is this desolate little town of Havre, Montana.
It's in a bowl. Actually,
it's in a bowl.
Geographically.
The only thing that we experience, or anybody that can experience anything around here, is what's blowing in on the wind.
That's true. Or riding in on the rails.
Or, riding in the rails. Or people like us that have ambition or have want of knowledge to experience anything outside of this town.
Very true. And to begin with, the equipment here is provided by my employer, which is a development company in Harlow, Montana. I'm not sure yet if they want their name to be associated with this. I'll talk to them. But if you know what's going on already, good for you. Saves me a little bit of jargon. But the format of podcasting is, this is our show. We decide the content because, there isn't a major contributor that we have to appease. So the content is discretionary, and censorship is also discretionary. I'm a pretty free-minded person. I don't like the idea of censorship. If I could live somewhere else easily, I would.
That being said about the censorship thing, it's a great it's a great medium because there is no censorship, but I still find myself right now at this moment wanting to watch what I say.
Don't do that.
Because it's going to be broadcast out and for the world to hear.
That's very true.
And see.
As long as there isn't anything threatening, menacing, harassing, or derogatory towards any particular person that isn't welcoming that, I agree with that idea.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm going to say what I'm going to say. The people that are around me are here because they could handle it and they could absorb it.
Yeah.
And of course, I could reciprocate that from them. So.
Yeah, and I guess it's just going to take some getting used to before you get really comfortable with being able to say whatever you want.
Whatever the fuck you want.
Whatever the fuck you want. Right there. There's a straight in your face, for instance. So
That's
whatever
true.
the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And not being censored whatsoever, and saying fuck it. Let's just talk.
That's true. Let's talk shit.
Let's talk shit about whoever the fuck we want, whenever the fuck. Yeah, but that's in essence what it comes down to is whatever the fuck we want to say.
That's very true.
So anyway.
So it's their equipment, and I thank them for doing that. As time goes by, and as I feel the need to, I'll get my own and add a little production value, music, animations, whatever else. I need to upgrade this broadcaster also. Hopefully it's working. If not, oh well, we're talking. It's going to be recorded. I could upload it to my YouTube channel anyway, which can't remember the address right offhand, but I'll get it to you. And of course, you could just search by looking for small towns, small mines, and it'll pop up there once I get this one and the last one uploaded. But if anybody does want to sponsor, of course, just sit down. We'll have a conversation about the way this works and however you want me to talk about you and your business, however informal it could be, which is what I prefer. Because if I'm reading something from a script, nobody's going to listen.
Yeah. And, going along with the small town, small minds thing, if if this becomes of any significance for listening and anybody wants to refute or, refute the idea of small minds occupy small towns, or come on here and tell us that we're wrong.
Yeah, and I certainly welcome it. I mean, I like to talk with anybody about anything as long as they're not too close-minded. There are a lot of religious people that I don't talk to just because I think the whole premise of religion is being small-minded and keeping your views within a certain scope that pleases, realistically, people that have set up these different religions. I don't refute the idea of religion. I think it's great. I really do.
But you don't subscribe to any specific religion.
I do not. I am an atheist.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
And that being said, I myself am a Christian, but I also, Native American, and it's been a long time since I've been in my roots and in my cultural background. I'd like to again someday, but that contrasts who we are. We're friends, but we have some different views and different ideas.
That's very true.
But we also have some definite aligning views. We think about things the same way in a lot of cases.
If we didn't, we couldn't stand to be around each other.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, and there's things that I respect about Christianity. Most of my family subscribes to that religion, practices that religion, I should say. But I also understand and respect spirituality, too. I'm not practicing. It's not my lifestyle. It's not my way of life. That's why I choose to apply the label atheist. But I do respect and observe all of these different things that were a part of my upbringing. I certainly can't take away from anything, any of the positives or the negatives, so I don't try to. But
yeah,
for my lifestyle, it's just...
that's just who you are.
I'm just an atheist.
Yeah.
I'm a fucking atheist.
You're a fucking atheist. You're going to hell.
I'm sure I could.
But today's Martin Luther King Day, and that little nugget of religious talk brings up Martin Luther King. Was his birthday today, and he died, of course, at the age of 39 back in, I think it was 1957.
Yes,
I believe so.
Somebody will correct us.
Yeah. But he grew up in the home of a pastor, and in Atlanta. Later went to seminary school in Massachusetts, and he was well read. In fact, he read a lot of philosophy.
Yeah.
And he always said, I read his autobiography, and it's kind of hard to say he wrote an autobiography because he didn't. They compiled all of his papers and his notes into one after his death, but it was all those were written by him. So in a sense, it was his autobiography. But in that book, he said that he read all of the contemporary philosophers, including Nietzsche, and Nietzsche was himself a self-described atheist.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of his books is called the Antichrist. I believe it's called the Antichrist. And he just rants and raves about Christianity in that book and how it's false and fake. And but MLK read all of his work. And he said that there are parts of every philosopher that he could take, and in life, you take what you can, throw away what's useless.
It's true. Yeah.
But MLK, it's his day today.
It is true, and I like a lot of his quotes because he tries to keep it as simple as possible, which I appreciate. It's kind of the lifestyle that I've adopted. I like to live as simple as possible, but he speaks of these parables that are pretty small little nuggets, but they're pretty powerful. Like the whole idea of darkness cannot defeat darkness, only light can. Hate cannot defeat hate, only love can.
Yeah.
And the right part of the day or the right part of your life. Just different little things like that can certainly turn things around for you and give you a lot of meaning and a lot of substance.
Yeah, there's a lot of meaning packed in those few little words.
That's very true. Not like me. I try to be as empty, transparent as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But quite a powerful man. One thing that I just learned about him, well, I guess in a little more detail, I'm not going to go fully into it, but this book that I'm reading, if you want to go into the details, called Quiet, The Power of Introverts by Susan Cain.
Okay.
Martin Luther King Jr. certainly isn't an introvert.
No.
by any means.
No.
However, a person that helped to facilitate his entry into mainstream society, Rosa Parks, was in fact an introvert, and her whole thing of you know what, fuck it, I'm going to sit on the front of the bus. I don't feel good today.
With you saying that she was an introvert and then taking that step, that seems
counterintuitive?
Contradictive.
Contradictory.
The fact that she was an introvert and then stood up and said, I'm not going to sit back here anymore.
That's very true.
But, one of the things that the establishment in Montgomery at the time said that she was placed on that bus by Martin Luther King's congregation and was told to sit in that front seat by them to start the entire process down there of the movement. Yeah, but they refute it, and I don't see, I don't know, I can't say for sure, but however, it did start a movement, whether it was staged or not.
For sure, yeah.
It did start a movement, and she was instrumental in that movement because she was the first.
Absolutely, yeah.
She said, I'm not going to sit back here.
Yeah, for sure. And the reason I read that book is one of the other labels, I suppose, that's put on me is I am an introvert myself. Not a whole lot of people know where I live. I don't have a lot of friends. Even though I'm doing this podcast, it's a very public thing. Still flushed. I'm still sweating. But I've learned early on the art of public speaking and its importance and everything else. So it hasn't really been a problem for me. And it might not appear that way, but realistically, I'm struggling, and I do when I have to speak to people. So.
Well, it doesn't appear that way ever at all, actually. You're very well-spoken, you're articulate, and you don't come across at all as an introvert.
It's true.
Whenever you're pressed to speak your mind, you have no problem doing so.
Yeah, and that's kind of one thing that I took upon myself because being a Native American in a small town, living off the reservation and trying to be as worldly and well-traveled as I could, I thought that was really important. There are a lot of Native American people that, quite honestly, just cannot speak well and can't put their thoughts and processes and everything else out to the world. So I thought, I need to learn how to do that. I need to become good at it so I can be taken seriously and make the right first impression. So.
And that's very important. Everybody always says, well, I think it's actually about 50-50. First impressions don't matter. Actually, they absolutely do matter. And those people that say first impressions don't matter aren't making any impression anywhere in the world, probably. They're probably not doing anything whatsoever. They're probably sitting on their couch doing nothing.
That's
so
true.
First impressions absolutely matter. When you can present yourself, I always say at job interviews, I've always had this frame of mind that you dress to impress.
It's true, yes.
And I've gone to some really crappy job interviews. For instance, I went for a lumber company, and I wore a tie and a shirt, button down, and a shirt. And after I was hired, one of the guys out front said, one of the other ladies in the store went out and said, "Hey, you got to come take a look at this. There's a guy showed up for interview in a tie and a shirt for a lumber company."
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah,
I got hired on that alone.
For sure, yeah, and the fact that that you could speak well and you don't stutter and stammer and struggle to try to answer
Yeah.
a simple question.
But first impressions absolutely do matter.
For sure, yeah. And I've been told to tone it down quite a bit too. One of the jobs that I've worked in a bigger city here in the state was for a company that does pretty well and handles a large volume of work. It's the biggest in its sector. After a few days of work, and I was told by one of the supervisors, you don't have to do this much. And so I started to, okay, I'll tone it down, I'll bring it down.
Yeah.
They said, well, you should, not be uniform, but dress to let people know that you are a professional in a certain field. However, you don't need to.
You don't need to do all that, huh?
You don't need to do all that. Yeah. So
you don't have to put on such a face.
it was good, yeah. And on the other hand, too, because I do know what I'm doing and I do know how to apply myself, I've had success in the areas that I've chosen to do so. However, I don't talk about it. It's just part of the introvert thing in me wanting to live a simple lifestyle. I'm not educated to a degree that a lot of people, one, think I should be, and two, think I have to be with respect to different positions.
It's it's unfortunate that, well, it's not unfortunate. I guess it's, in your case, it's a little unfortunate that it's such an emphasis is being placed on education.
True, yeah.
When you have the experience and the background, and you can do the job.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Sometimes I think a degree is just a piece of paper. I've seen a lot of people have that and not even working in their field.
The most successful people that I know aren't degreed. They're just not.
Yeah.
And some of the most successful people in this country certainly aren't degreed or weren't when they got into their field. Like, I can't remember if it was Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or somebody like that.
Well, how about Bill Gates dropping out of school?
Yeah, how about that?
He doesn't even have a degree. Zero.
Yeah.
He has no degree.
Yeah, and look what he's done. And you're going to tell me that the emphasis should be on education.
Yeah. I mean, more power to you if you have one.
True, yeah. You can't take anything away
No.
from that.
But if you have the experience, lacking the education, but you have the experience and the know-how and the ambition to do a job, why not allow that to happen?
Yeah, and I started down that path too. I mean, right after, I've always been told that I'm a pretty brilliant guy. That's not a test or any guidelines I try to put on myself. I think it always is public perception as far as whether or not you're smart and capable.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I was always told that about myself, and so after high school, I did at least enroll in our community college and tried to step beyond that too. And I got to a certain point, but I got frustrated with the way things were being worked there. I'm not going to go into any details.
Yeah.
Anything like that, because somebody might try to take it personal, and that's something I'm not going to convey. But one of our good friends, Rob Williams, who's doing well in what he does now, told me, you need to come and work for me.
Yeah.
And that was in the area of law enforcement, and he had been in it long enough to where he knows what he's looking for in individuals.
Yeah.
He saw that in both of us.
Yeah.
So we went to work for him, myself for 5 years, you for 10.
Well, not even, no. I was only there for 5 years too, because I got hired back in 2001, and I probably quit law enforcement in 2006 when I got hired with BNSF.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I mean, it was just 5 years for myself too. Another buddy of ours, more of mine, I guess, Steve Henry.
Yeah.
He, I don't know what his deal is, but he got hired about 6 months after I did, and he's been in law enforcement for 12 years now.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, and he's climbed up the ladder.
It's true. Yeah.
I think he's lieutenant now. He was acting chief for a while out in Rocky Boy, but we had, Rob Williams definitely was able to see things in each of us,
For sure.
and he's a good judge of character, and he could tell probably within about 20-30 minutes of talking to somebody what
what they're made of.
Yeah, what they're made of, what they're capable of doing. And man, if he would have never left that department, I probably would have never left.
Yeah, and everywhere he went after that, I followed him because he is a great leader.
Yeah,
he just is.
And does he doesn't have any degree.
No, he doesn't. He's working on it.
Yeah, he's working on it, but lacking that degree, he's still highly capable of running departments,
absolutely,
programs. He's done it successfully.
He's got a pretty incredible working knowledge, and that's one thing that me and him always talk about is, for some people, you should have that degree just so you don't get into that conversation of credibility, or you don't put yourself in a position to where you can be questioned by somebody. And I'll allow myself to be questioned by anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be questioned by somebody that is not qualified or is of a lower ethical and moral standard than myself.
Yeah.
So, but that's one thing we talked about is he said, I would rather, because he's been in a supervisory position for the last, I don't know how many decades of his life, he said, I would rather have somebody that's got a very good skill set and working knowledge as opposed to somebody that's pretty fresh out of college.
Yeah.
Because there are things that they haven't learned or done because they've been learning and not working.
Yeah, yeah. They don't have those bad habits that they've learned already. They're highly trainable because they have no experience, and they get, be given direction better than somebody who's been ingrained in the system and has those habits or that mindset that's going to be hard to change.
It's true, yeah, because you could be taught to be dumb pretty easily.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people doing it.
Yeah.
So.
And those college students fresh from college are highly pliable and mendable, and they could be, directed well.
That's very true, yeah.
My brother lives in San Diego, Monks, and he got his Bachelor's of Business Administration back in, I think, April.
Yeah.
And then directly after that, he went straight for his MBA and just graduated in October.
From which college?
He got it from SDSU, I believe, originally, San Diego State University, for the Bachelor's in Business. And then he got his master's from a college called Agassi. I'm not sure what Agassi is. I'm going to look it up, actually. But anyway, he graduated back in October, and he's still looking for a job in his field right now in San Diego, in a big market.
Yeah.
And having trouble finding a job.
Yeah, that's got to suck. And that's the thing is, like I said, the onus in this country is being put onto education. And when you're finding all these people not being able to apply their education, it's just kind of...
It makes it seem like it's wasted.
It's true, yeah, it's very discouraging.
You put a lot of the effort into getting your degree,
and
it's just being wasted.
Yeah. You have to specialize.
Yeah, you do have to specialize. I don't know. He will never move back to Montana.
Never.
He's expressed that many times, and I can understand that.
For sure.
He's lived in San Diego for 17 years now, and I'm sure that he could find a job on the reservation with an MBA and be well paid.
Yeah.
Instead of
and
right now being
influence.
Yeah. And instead of right now being in San Diego, and he's still looking for a job.
Yeah, that sucks. Definitely sucks. But yeah, and that's just kind of more emphasis on my stance, I guess, or my argument when I want to talk to people about. I've built a pretty good skill set working over the years to where I felt comfortable enough going out on my own in my particular field, and I've done well. I've had some success, and it's great to prove to myself that I can do it. That's awesome. But at the same time, I'm taking that working knowledge and applying it with this development company, trying to help them to stimulate economic growth in an area that desperately needs it. So.
Yeah. This town has a lot of room to grow.
It does.
But there's this I hate to say ruling elite here, but it's not really a ruling elite. It's just a mindset of class in this town.
Yeah.
That
Sure.
there are some people way above others, and I guess you could find that in any town, but here it seems so pronounced because it's such a small town that you have probably a hard time getting your foot in the door unless
True.
you know those contacts here in town.
Yeah, that's true. Unless you're part of the right family,
In the
or
know.
the right family,
Yeah.
or anything
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, and that's really the problem that's going on with a lot of the rest of the country too. That's causing problems. I mean, that 1%.
When I had that good old 1%, man.
Has all the money that controls everything.
And it's not even 1% in the country. I read an article. It's 1% in the world
The
now.
world,
Yeah, 1% of the world owns over 50% of the wealth.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That is beyond. That's just, I can't comprehend that. 1%, 7 billion people.
And a handful of people.
Yeah, what is 1% of 7 billion? 100 million?
It's too late in the day for me to do the math.
Or seven? It can't be 700 million.
No.
Hold on, I got to figure that out. It's
700,000.
700,000. That sounds about right.
Probably, I don't know.
But yeah, that just. I understand working hard and
Working your way up.
working your way up, and
Getting
what
people.
you have is what you worked hard for.
Yep.
But there's that distance between the classes, or the wealth.
Yeah.
It's just, it doesn't make sense to me. It's incomprehensible
Were
that
you a socialist?
that little section of people controls so much of this of the economy.
For sure, yeah. And it doesn't make sense to me either. Even if, well, I guess one thing that people always like to make a reference to, the popular reference, I guess, is the lottery. If you won the lottery, what would you do? And there's a lot of people that said, oh, I would sit on it and this and that and whatever else. I would buy myself a couple of nice things, put enough money away to make sure that I was going to be comfortable. Even if I had to struggle at a certain point, I wouldn't care. I've struggled before. It's not a problem. I enjoy struggle as much as I enjoy success. However, if I can make a positive difference in the people around me, whether it's my family, my community, or anybody else farther reaching than that, I certainly would. It just
Yeah.
wouldn't be a problem for me.
Yeah,
So,
same here. And that's the way we grew up.
Yep.
We didn't grow up wealthy. We didn't grow up having a lot of things given to us.
Yeah.
And growing up that way has made us who we are, and we will definitely, we'd share the wealth.
Yeah, and even if, I was going to say, even if a lot of something was given to us, it
Yeah.
would be shared.
Yeah,
That's just
absolutely.
The way we were taught. And
And those wealthy people, everything's just handed to them, and they have a hard time letting go or sharing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense. You have so much wealth, you can't spend it in your lifetime.
Yeah.
What are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that Bill Gates is, in fact, his foundation, the
He's
Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
giving a lot of it up.
Yeah, he's giving 90% of his wealth up when he dies.
That is impressive.
And he has talked a lot of billionaires into doing the same thing. The Oracle, is it the Oracle? Yeah, the Oracle of Omaha. Buffett, Warren Buffett has signed on for it. He's going to give away 90% of his wealth when he dies to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. A couple of his other coworkers, I can't remember their names now, that helped found Microsoft are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
And that says a lot about them.
True. Yeah. It's very true.
But it's too bad that we have to wait for their death for that to happen.
Yeah.
And
You got something?
I wish I had. I guess we, in the world sense of the world, is going to be getting something from them upon their death.
For sure. Yeah.
But anyway, 1% of 7 billion people, 70 million people. That's 1/3. Is it 1/3 of the population of the United States? Yeah, I think so. It's 311 million is what population of the United States is right now. So, but yeah, that's 1/3 of the United States.
It's crazy. You're throwing too many numbers at me.
That's not very many people. 70 million is a lot. Don't get me wrong, but in a world sense, that's just not a lot of people.
1%.
1%, man, that's ridiculous.
It's a penny
Still,
for the dollar.
yeah, it's just, yeah. But I don't know. Today I guess could be we're talking about equality in a sense, in a lot of senses. MLK Day and economic equality. Um, yeah, power, black power, and
Brown power.
brown power.
All the colors.
Red,
Yellow.
just equality across the board,
Yeah.
and there are people that delude themselves and say it doesn't exist, or it does exist.
Yeah.
It doesn't. No.
No. Can't say white power just because of the context that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Not today. Not now. No.
For the most part, it's easy to be white. One of my favorite comedians. Not easy for everybody that is white just to live. So let's not start an argument about that. But
Yeah.
one of my favorite comedians, Louis C.K. He said, "I can't tell you how happy I am to
be white." I heard that.
If I was given a choice, I would pick again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be white again. Let's do that.
No. He goes. Time travel. I could time travel anywhere, and be plopped down somewhere and be doing okay, simply because I'm white.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't want to time travel as a black person 300 years ago to the United States.
Yeah.
No, 300 years ago in the United States, if I was a white person, I'd be okay. I'd be doing good just because I'm white.
He said he wouldn't go forward in time, though, because he's pretty sure that there's going to come a point in time where white people are going to get fucked.
Yeah, if things are going to get reversed, and they might find some equality sometime in the future.
For sure, yeah. But people that have undiluted minds like that and just...
Yeah, they know.
Oh, man, yeah.
They know,
a awesome mind.
He's not in denial.
No, yeah.
And that's what it is they're in denial of the state of the country right now.
Yeah, that's true.
We've come a long way, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But we haven't come far enough.
No, that's very true. Yeah, and I don't know, it's kind of crazy, but I kind of like to adopt his views and his way of expressing his views too. A lot of people I don't get along with just because I'm probably the most honest person that you're going to meet. You're the same way. There's a lot of people that just aren't going to get along with us in lieu of the fact that we're so honest, and people just don't want to hear it, which is weird. It's just one of the weirdest things for me.
Delusion. Yeah. And I'll be honest. Sometimes I don't want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
I need to hear the truth, and I know the truth, but I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I'd like to live in a little bubble sometimes, but it doesn't always exist.
Doesn't.
Yeah. And if this country could wake up and everybody look at each other and say, yeah, there's something wrong here.
Yep.
Everything is not peachy, and and the way this country is being run by Congress, who's doing a horrible, crappy job.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's not right.
It's not. Yeah, I can't remember what season and what episode it is, but there's an episode of Family Guy where they overthrew the government. And I'm not endorsing that or trying to influence anybody into thinking that. So don't take this as that kind of agenda. Talking about a cartoon. For fuck's sake. But
very funny cartoon.
That's what they successfully did, and what Peter Griffin eventually got onto the courthouse steps and said was, "I've got an idea. Why don't we, instead of trying to individually give everybody our own decisions and having them conflict, let's pick somebody in our town that we could, share the popular opinion to. And somebody could go to somebody in the country and share that popular opinion to, and then everybody from everywhere else is going to talk to this one person, and they're going to decide what's going to be the right thing for the country. Should we try this new crazy thing?"
That's right, because it was total chaos and anarchy when everybody was just getting or doing what they wanted.
Yeah.
And nobody got along.
It's true. Yeah.
And I remember that. That was a pretty funny episode. Another episode about the black guy in the white car.
Oh, yeah, dude.
That black guy must be doing really well.
Because everything he owns is white.
Yeah. He was dressed in a white suit, driving a white car, even had a white hat on.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, there's that white thing again.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's just the irony in that whole part of that episode was, let's try this new crazy thing. And it makes sense.
It needs to be a new crazy thing again.
Yeah.
It's not working right now.
It's not to that. It's not back to that.
No,
I
no.
mean, the person that has the greatest influence and decision-making power, the people that have that in this country, are deluded by money.
Yeah. Oh, big time. And right now, the U.S. Supreme Court passed or overturned a law that required. The law originally required
The
corporations to limit their funding to congressmen.
Yeah.
And limit their lobbying efforts. But the U.S. Supreme Court, in all their wisdom, decided that was unconstitutional.
True.
And now, back to spending enormous amounts of money to influence congressmen. And we're going to be back about 4 or 5 years ago when, lobbyists had more influence than the constituents, the people that elected those people.
Yeah, they walk around in voting sessions passing out checks.
Yeah.
To all of these individuals. I mean, there's no shame. Are you
None.
kidding me?
Who are they? Who are these congressmen making decisions for them?
Yeah.
Themselves, for that check, for that company.
Yeah.
Not the people that voted them in office.
No. Yeah, and I mean, I could see how you could sell out like that, but I have too much willpower to do that.
I would feel ashamed.
Yeah.
For not listening to the people that put me in power.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll do anything to make a couple of bucks, just about.
And I just used. I shouldn't have said who put me in power, because it's not a seat of power. It's a seat of listening.
Yeah.
Of allowing people to speak through you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that's what it should be.
That's absolutely it. I mean, everybody's always complaining that the popular belief and correct community agenda just isn't being carried out as it should be.
No.
And it's not. That's the honest truth about it, is it's not.
No.
But, yeah, I don't know. I just don't see how people can sell out.
I don't either, and I don't.
I do, but not for,
I have an opinion about it, but I don't know how to fix it. It's beyond me.
I don't sell out to a degree that's going to destroy the country. I do it mostly for humor. Like recently, Rob asked me to put this pretty funny meme on my page.
Yeah.
And I just said, you know what, fuck it. It's going to be more funny than anything.
Yeah.
He gave me $5 to do it.
Really? What the hell is it?
I can't remember what it said. But,
I gotta see this now.
But I mean, Rob knows how to influence a guy, and I'll always listen to what he said because it's obviously steered me right to this point in my life.
Yeah.
But he sent me this meme that says, and if you're worried about it, plug your ears. Otherwise,
here it comes.
Yeah. It's mostly red with this guy who has a pipe in his mouth and a fucking cardigan.
Oh yeah.
But it says, "Yes, I have a huge cock." Okay, gosh, I'm more than just a guy with a huge, and I mean huge cock. Sheesh. And nobody said shit on my page.
Nobody commented. Nothing. No likes. Nothing. You made the Facebook world uncomfortable with that.
I did, and that's something that I enjoy doing. I don't think people should get comfortable doing anything around me.
It's you made all your Facebook friends uncomfortable with your one post because nobody responded. Nothing.
Yeah. And then if I would have saw that on your page,
I
would have said, that's pretty outrageous. Somebody probably paid you some money to put that up.
Yeah.
And you guys are laughing about it right now.
I mean, somebody should have said something, but a bunch of uncomfortable little dick dudes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's crazy.
What was that other one? I can't remember. Whoever said money can't buy happiness must have a small penis.
Yeah.
Because people with small penises say weird shit.
That's another one of those things too, man. I mean, I'd be comfortable if I had more wealth.
I would be a little more happy on a jet ski than I would be sitting on a board trying to paddle across the lake.
Hell yeah.
I'd be pretty happy.
Yeah. The only reason I want to be on a board paddling across the damn lake is paddleboarding for a workout.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be very happy about it.
No.
That doesn't seem like a really fun recreation because it looks like a lot of work.
It would get monotonous.
Yeah.
It would drive me nuts.
Yeah, and you're trying to balance the entire time on this little board.
That's true.
You got to paddle. It'd be a workout.
For the most part, I do like to have instant gratification.
Are you
However,
ADD?
yes. However, it does feel a little better to be able to work towards something and say, yeah, I worked for it. It's totally worth it. I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, a goal.
I made a quote recently. I don't care if I get credit for it or not. I just like the way it sounds. But I said, satisfaction without reciprocation is exploitation. Something makes you feel good, make that something feel good, or make somebody else feel good.
Reciprocate?
Reciprocate.
Yeah.
Give it back.
Give it back.
Like, what was that? I love you, man. He was telling his fiance, give it back.
Yeah, that's right. At the dinner table, the engagement party.
Everybody looked around.
Yeah, just give it back.
Yeah, and that was great. It was an awesome movie.
And that frickin' movie too. The differences in women's relationships and the craziness that excuse me, women.
No,
maybe not craziness.
they're crazy.
Oh, all right. The conversation they had in the car right after that dinner about, you told him that.
Yeah. Shit, that's funny.
And
but then at the same time, the double standard at
Yeah.
the beginning of the movie, where the girls were saying you should marry him, he goes down on you like 6 times a week,
right?
and he doesn't get upset about that.
No, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. The double standard there. It's just, yeah.
Be proud of that.
Yeah. Great. That's a great fucking movie.
Great fucking movie. Yeah, but the whole idea of double standards is ridiculous. The whole idea of censorship in the extreme that it is now is ridiculous. I'm a pretty open-minded guy. I don't force that open-mindedness on a lot of people, but I think that if you're thinking something, fucking let it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to try to blame somebody else for your inability to vocalize what you're feeling.
What you're feeling is an idea.
Yeah.
What you're thinking is an idea.
Yep.
Everything great was founded on ideas.
True, yeah, and magic.
And if you're afraid to voice your opinion, what's that? How's that going to improve anything?
It's very true. The whole idea of podcasting is started way back when. This microphone is an idea.
Yeah.
Cell phones are an idea.
Yeah. Sitting on this chair is an idea, you know? Yeah.
If somebody didn't open their mouth about that.
Exactly.
So anytime I have an idea, I let it out. Sometimes people can't handle it. If you can't handle it, you're not a part of my circle anymore.
Yeah, then
That's it.
censor yourself by not being a part of my circle anymore.
Yeah, that's right. And my circle's pretty fucking awesome, so
Yeah.
you should want to be a part of it. It's pretty good over here.
It's not bad. So yeah, censorship, MLK, yeah, equality, all that
All the
jazz.
All
Yeah. MLK again. He was well read, like I said, and he based his whole movement on one person.
Yeah.
Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma K. Gandhi.
That's right. Pretty awesome dude.
Pretty awesome dude. Mahatmas is a Hindi word for enlightened one. But he led a revolt against Britain in 2 places, actually. In South Africa. Yeah, he moved to the UK, got a degree in law from Oxford. I believe it was Oxford. And then after that, he went back to India, and somebody asked him to come to South Africa because of the racial issues that were happening in South Africa, not against blacks, against Indians.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and there was a large population. I think 10 million Indians lived in South Africa at the time.
That's a lot of Indians.
Yeah, and they, like the modern apartheid, they were oppressed. They didn't have the same laws for themselves. There were Indian fountains, Indian bathrooms.
Yeah.
And he went down there to fight to get equality, and he spent like 20 years in South Africa, back and forth to India and South Africa, and he got a little bit of stuff passed and helped the Indians down there, and helped to break down the barriers. But then he started his movement back in India, ultimately against Britain again, to to liberate India.
Huh.
Because at the time, Britain said one of their things was that the sun never sets on their empire, because they had so many colonies all over the world.
True. Yeah.
The sun was always shining on a part of Britain. But his biggest thing and his biggest way of revolt and rebellion was love.
Yeah.
Love your enemy. Never resort to violence. If you show your enemy love, they will ultimately feel guilty in oppressing you.
Yeah.
If you just
sure.
constantly show them love. And that's what MLK did, is he instructed all of his followers to never lash out violently, no matter what.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you were hit, you were beat, you were whatever by the police, never lash out, never hit back, because ultimately love will win over.
Yeah, that's true.
And
like
so
to
he
hit.
followed Gandhi. Yeah, you like MMA, and that's that. It has its place.
It does, yeah. It's great for fitness and letting out anger and
Yeah,
frustration.
yeah,
and everything.
absolutely.
But I'm not, one of those dickheads that just puts on an affliction shirt and walks around, with a full breath in my lungs, looking for somebody to look at me the wrong way.
I like
know
doing
what I
that.
mean? Do you?
No.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't.
No. Yeah, but it's just, I'll do everything to avoid a fight. I really will. And a lot of people will try to say, well, you know how to fight, or you fought before, or whatever else.
Yeah.
But why?
Yeah.
I'd rather, as ridiculous as it sounds, I'd rather use it for entertainment. That's why they schedule amateur fights around the state. It's supposed to be for entertainment. It's not supposed to be for the sake of
An act of just pounding someone's face into oblivion.
Yeah, you're not out there just to exhibit your ego to everybody else. Nobody gives a shit about anybody's ego.
No, you're there to exhibit your skill set
Yeah.
for entertainment.
Yeah, and to give an example too, if I could control myself this well and affect that on somebody else to make them do what I want them to do, then you
Yeah.
could do that with yourself also.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the whole idea behind martial arts and the thought of discipline and everything else too, is it's not that you're learning how to kick somebody's ass. If you want to do that, then go find some people that
Yeah.
want to do that
Yeah.
with you, and you guys can end up killing yourselves, and the world will be lighter because there's less assholes. You guys have died, but
In the broader sense, the world probably views it as modern day gladiators just there to beat each other up. But
yeah.
In viewing it as we know it is, it's a technical sport.
Yeah, it's true.
It takes a lot of challenge and understanding to hold somebody down and put them in a whatever armbar, whatever, and
Yeah.
make them stop moving.
Yeah, if you could make somebody stop fighting, then that means you're in pretty damn good control of yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting sport, growing exceedingly fast, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the number one growing sport in the world, but it's probably close to it.
I know it was for a very long time. I don't know if it still is, if there's anything else. I think Formula One should be more popular.
Yeah. Soccer is probably
Yeah.
the most popular sport on the planet, and I just don't get it.
Yeah, I used
I
to
mean,
love playing soccer.
I respect it for the athleticism, because those guys are running up and down that field nonstop, and they
The pitch.
are in. Is that what it's called? The pitch?
Yeah.
That's not the field.
Oh.
See, yeah.
How dare you?
How dare I? What are those freaking horns that they blow at those damn things?
The vuvucelas.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm not a fan either.
Yeah, it's just an annoying, and they are so fucking loud. I
true.
just censored myself to hear that.
Uh-huh. Good for you.
Fuck that.
Sticker.
Yeah.
Somewhere that you just worked your way out of.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know either, but I'm here.
we are here.
You're listening to me. Tonight on NPR, one of the things we're going to talk about is
No. This is NPR.
who was the guy? Oh, I don't want to say his name.
What's that?
There was a guy here in Havre that was pretty popular. He had a pretty distinct voice and personality on the radio. It's actually a friend of mine who moved out of the area. Good for him, because
Oh yeah, he got out. I used to call Havre the black hole,
it is. It truly is.
because I've gotten out 3 separate times
Yeah.
and have been sucked back in 3 separate times. I lived in San Diego. I joined the Navy and lived in San Diego for 3 years.
You were a seaman?
I was a seaman. And got sucked back here for 9 months, and then moved to Georgia. Lived there for a little over 2 years. Got sucked back in.
The moonshine was pretty good.
The moonshine, oh man. Yeah, I bought, I wanted to try it.
Yeah.
So I bought a gallon, and it came in this big gallon with the finger hole.
And it lasted you about 2 years?
It lasted me the whole freaking time I was there, man, because it was so, it was made out of peaches.
Yeah.
And it was something that we drank only late in the middle of the night when we were having a house party, or we didn't buy our Sunday beer. Down there, Sundays, you can't buy alcohol anywhere.
Oh, wow.
Not even in restaurants.
Huh.
So you had to buy what you called, did you get your Sunday beer yet? Yeah, I
so
got
you
it.
could drink on
Yeah.
Sunday, yeah.
And if I didn't get it, that's what I would try to try, because the peach in it was so overwhelming. I remember I mixed half a shot.
Nothing wrong with that.
Half a shot with probably a 32-ounce mug
Yeah.
of orange juice.
Huh.
And I could still, that's all I could taste was the peach.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
I put a quarter shot in, same thing. Also, all I could taste was the peach. It was just, you could light the stuff on fire too.
I could taste that for hours.
No. Not when it burned. It burned.
Yeah, I don't want
You take a drink and it was, set your throat on fire.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this last time that I headed out, I was working for this company in Missoula. And, the individual in me liked the experience. I took a lot out of it. I took everything that I needed to out of it. And I felt like I contributed as well as I could. However, the businessman, the entrepreneur in me said, there could be more that we're doing. I don't think that I'm going the direction I need to as an individual with respect to this company's agenda. And I was getting asked to do all of this work back in this area. So, I approached the company head and said, this is what's going on. You could benefit, I could benefit. You're going to benefit more the way I have it planned out in my head.
yeah,
I kept getting told no. I don't like being told no. I don't like telling people no. I rarely do. It's pretty rare that I do. I mean, like
open mind.
the Facebook thing about the huge roosters, an example of that. I'll give you $5 if you put this up. I'm not going to tell you no.
Yeah.
But I got tired of telling all of these people no here for this work, and it was really important work that just it needed to happen. Some things needed to get sorted out. So I came back here to do that, and I stuck around because I like the solitude. The introvert in me likes the solitude. I like to be by myself in my little ivory tower here.
Yeah, and you like to bicycle and cycle, and there's a lot of places to go, and that's
open rooms to do that, yeah.
Absolutely. And sometimes I like the solitude too. Actually, I like the solitude a lot.
Yeah.
It gives me a lot of time just to sit and have my own thoughts.
True. Yeah.
A lot of and
it's easy nowadays. It's easy to go anywhere, anytime.
Yeah.
I mean, you spend a couple of bucks is the reality, but in 5 hours I could be sitting on my relative's ranch in California.
Yeah. That's I always wonder about the news today. We hear everything so quickly now.
Yeah.
And everybody always comments about, man, there's so much more of this happening. I don't think it's probably not so much more of we hear about it more because of
more
the
awareness.
More awareness and more things, people reporting about it. It's put out there immediately for the world to see. When 100 years ago, it took something happening in New York 3 or 4 days for that news to get to L.A.
The Pony Express had to bring it.
Something, but now it's instantaneous.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes you even know while it's happening.
Yeah.
And but that also helps the sharing of ideas.
That's true, yeah, and that's one thing that Gordon Brown, I believe his name is. I'm an idiot if I got it wrong. But
He did anyway.
He was the PM of Great Britain, and he did a TED Talk in, I don't. Anyway, his message was,
Yeah.
let's take advantage of social media. If you have a good idea, share it. It's that easy. If you want to make a change, do it. Show an example. Start encouraging other people to do it. Everything is instant. And the examples he gave were so long ago when you had the guy carrying his groceries through Tiananmen Square, and he decided, I'm going to stop in front of this fucking tank.
Yeah.
And let him know what's on my mind. And after that was the Sudanese girl that was minutes away from death. The vulture was sitting there behind her, just waiting,
Well, yeah, John.
waiting for life's cycle just to take its course. And it took a while for the photo from Tiananmen Square to get around, but it was almost instantly. So many million people saw the picture of the Sudanese girl minutes away from death.
Yeah.
That people started paying attention, and you start getting all these things like people launching Live Aid and all kinds of other stuff happening because of that. So why not?
Why not? Yeah. I never understood the human nature of taking and needing more than you have or need.
Yeah, the surplus.
The surplus, and that's sometimes 90% of what drives those conflicts in those nations. Why does it have to be that way? Why can't they just work together? And I guess that's part of the 1% thing.
Yeah.
We're all inhabiting this planet together.
It's true.
We all should get along and help each other out some way.
Yeah.
But it's not that way.
It's true. No, humans are the worst disease.
And
it's the truth.
We're so selfish.
Yeah, that's true. But if you look at it, this is a fucking amazing planet. It's a beautiful place to be, right? I cannot deny that.
Yeah, look at what we're fucking doing to it. We're dumping on it, and it's still supporting us.
Yeah, and so it started out way back when with, you couldn't even notice the people. You couldn't. Something happened to where Earth caught the worst disease, people.
It's said best on the movie Matrix.
Yeah.
What the Smith was talking to Neo, and he says, "You know what you are."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He goes, I tried to think of a species or something to compare humans to, and the only thing I could think of was a virus.
A virus. Yeah.
You infect an area.
It's a virus.
Take it over. And what was that?
I have no idea.
Oh,
You're listening.
I'm listening to myself. Hold on a second here.
Yeah.
It finally caught up. But yeah, he said, it's the only thing I compare it to is a virus.
Yep.
It infects an area, uses up all the resources in an area, and then expands and takes over other areas.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. If you sat and looked at it, it would be like an apple getting mold.
Yeah.
And you start out, it's just an apple. It's beautiful. It's flawless. It's nice and shiny. It's got a good skin to it. But if you put people on it, it's going to just start growing like a mold. Everything was a wilderness. The idea of wilderness is something that we enjoy in Montana. But if you go, to any one of the coasts, you don't have it. It doesn't exist.
No.
So if you sat there and looked at and elapsed, if the technology existed way back when, but if you went back, 2,000 years, whatever, and looked at the Earth from the same spot, over the course of time, you would see the fungus of people start to spread and destroy those parts of the world.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
We take everything for granted. We take our natural resources. We take this resource of Earth for granted, and we move into an area, decimate it, take everything out that's growing, that is organic, and replace
you
it.
Might do that. I don't. Do that.
Well, replace it with concrete. We pave over everything.
Yeah, there's concrete and smoke and poisonous liquids.
Yeah. But the Earth is. I don't know that it's not taking it anymore.
Yeah, it's not.
It's sick. We're
the,
infected.
the earth is going to throw us away.
Yeah.
It's what's going to happen, and one of the things I always tell people, and an ideal that I have in my head is something like swine flu is here as a part of Mother Nature's control. I don't think we should stop it. I don't think we should come up with a vaccine. I think that the people that it's going to kill should be killed because of natural selection. I mean, it sounds horrible. It sounds probably selfish
Yeah, I was just going to say that. That goes against self-preservation and human instinct too. I mean, that is the natural order of things.
It is, yeah.
But humans have grown to the capacity that we are able to change our environment and influence everything else around us.
Yeah.
And it's just not going to happen.
No.
I mean, unless there's a strain, and there are strains out there that are drug resistant.
Yeah.
Probably because of natural selection.
Because of that, yeah. And that's the part of it too, is when you try to treat something, especially when it's natural, through the course of genetic variation, it's not adaptation. Not one thing is going to change itself to try to whatever. There's mutation and there's genetic variation. So over time, something that you're continuing to try to eradicate, when it's natural, isn't going to be eradicated. It's just going to get stronger. And it's going to kill people.
It's going to adapt.
Yeah. And so I'm extremely healthy. So are you. We work pretty hard on that every day.
I could improve, but yeah, I'm healthier now than I was even a year ago.
For sure, yeah. And so because of the lifestyle that I choose to live, I haven't been sick for probably 4 years now.
Yeah.
And even when I was only sick for about 10 hours, and I could still function and do all these other things. I was fine, and I try to be as natural as possible about it. There are people, conversely, that don't do a fucking thing to try to take care of themselves.
They're
sucking up resources.
That's it. I have a friend that works in the healthcare industry, and she takes care of people at home.
Yeah.
One of her clients, she takes care of, and I asked her, I said, well, usually there's something, they have some developmental delay or some disability. They're sick for some reason. And this one guy that she takes care of, I asked her, so what's his problem? What's causing his problem? She goes, nothing. He's fat and fucking lazy.
Yeah.
And I said, what? She goes, yeah, he's got diabetes because he's too fat.
Yeah.
He sits on his chair and doesn't move, and that's the reason I'm there.
Jesus.
And he sends me out shopping and buys all these ridiculous things to make him fatter.
Yeah.
And that's his world. He doesn't get off of that chair because he's too fucking fat.
Yeah, that fucking sucks.
I was like, he's not sick? She goes, yeah, he's sick because he's fucking fat.
And then, I'm sure the state or the government is paying money to keep this person alive.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. We're supporting his fatness.
Yeah, that's it. And then you have, a friend of my family, he's a physician, he's a surgeon. He works across the country. But he did some work here, locally. And that's one thing that he always tried to do, is he said, we're not going to adopt a model where we're treating symptoms
of something that can be changed.
Yeah, we're going to go to the source of these different things. So, there was a budget that had to be abided by, and one of the things he did for one person was, instead of giving them diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, medication, all these other different things, and buying them equipment so they could move themselves around throughout the day, he said, we're going to buy this person a lap band. They're going to start losing weight. Over time, all of these symptoms are going to disappear. Problem solved. It's either spend all that money right now, or establish a budget to keep this person alive for
functioning,
a certain period of time.
There's a documentary called Fat, Sick, and Almost Dead.
Yeah.
And this guy Michael, he's an Australian. He was about 60 pounds overweight, and he had, I can't remember exactly what the diseases were, but he was taking like 6 different medications a day to keep himself going.
Like Hitler with his drug.
He was just
cocktail.
Blah, right?
Yeah.
He was in the title. He was dying.
Yeah.
Slowly, but he was dying. And he decided to cleanse his system through a juicing program,
Okay.
and he did. And he regularly does this juicing program to cleanse his system, but he also switched to consuming more vegetables than anything else.
Okay.
Right? He's not a vegetarian or a vegan by any stretch, but he decided to change his diet. And within the course of 6 months, he was off those medications. He had lost 40 pounds, and he was feeling better. He had arthritis that went away.
Yeah.
You know, just because of his healthy diet and his exercise.
Yeah, like I got rid of my allergies by regularly taking in honey and cinnamon.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need medication. Like, I don't subscribe to any particular diet. I eat pretty clean, but I portion everything better than most people do. I'm sure. I used to be a fucking pig. I mean, I used to be pretty.
I remember you used to. I'm like, God damn, fucking Bob eats all day, every day.
Go.
and I'm like, I remember riding around with you on patrol, and
so what I do.
We would. One of the questions: can we stop by the store?
All the time.
Seriously, you just ate 2 hours ago. Yeah, let's stop. Okay, fine. Let's go stop by the store.
Yeah.
But you know, and I have experience in that myself of getting healthier. At one point, before my son was born, I was with his mom, and we had both put on 60 pounds.
Yeah, over the course of that pregnancy.
Part of her weight was a child, right? You know, it could be attributed to a child.
Yeah.
Mine was just being fucking fat and lazy and wanting to eat all the time. And I was huge, probably not the hugest I've ever been, because that was about a year ago, but I was huge.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I remember wearing my bulletproof vest, and I saw a picture of myself at the range, and my gut was hanging out the bottom of my vest, man. I'm like, that's me? But I went for a physical, and it was a full-blown physical with all the labs and all that.
Work and everything,
yeah. And I went for a follow-up, and the doctor asked me, the first thing he said is, do you drink water?
Yeah, and you don't. You didn't.
I didn't know. And I was like, what, drink water?
Yeah.
No. He goes, well, what do you drink? I said, no, shit. Probably a 3/4 of a 12-pack a day, 8 cans of Coke a day. If not more.
A couple energy drinks.
Yeah, and subsequently, my kidneys were shutting down.
Yeah.
He was able to tell by my blood work and my urine that my kidneys were shutting down.
Yeah,
they were on their way to shutting down, and I was on my way to being a diabetic.
Yeah.
And that scared the shit out of me.
It
so,
should.
Yeah. Yeah, as it should have. And I quit drinking soda that day and switched to water, and I probably consumed about a gallon of water every day after that, and I dropped 10 pounds in the first week.
Yeah. I always tell everybody the most important thing, the best thing you can do for your body is drink water and sleep. I don't sleep a whole lot.
I don't either.
That's why I don't. I mean, I'm trying to gain weight, but I can't gain a lot of weight. I've always looked just like this, but
yeah, that's ridiculous. You when I first got home back in July, it was a way extended stay. I'll tell you about that some other time. But I was at about 192 pounds.
Yeah. And
we went to the gym, and you know, it fluctuated between 196, 192 pounds, right around 5 pounds.
Yeah.
And you were about 220 or 215, 218.
Yeah, right.
And just over the last week, every time that we go in, you're down about 2 or 3 pounds. Right? We went in, and we're starting to meet in the middle. I was going up.
Yeah.
And at one point, I was at 209 pounds again. And that's what you weighed in yesterday, or Saturday.
Yeah.
209 pounds from about 215, 220.
And today I'm 214 again. So.
Yeah. I mean, I need to go. I'll take it. I'll give it to you.
I'll try.
I don't want this tire that I still got going on.
Yeah.
You know, I'm healthier. I've got more muscle mass, but I still got this, and that's because I don't put enough effort into what I eat.
True. Yeah. It's hard to do. I mean, it's really hard to do because, like I said, I used to eat like a fucking pig.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realize was I had cholesterol problems because a few years ago, I went and got the full panel, the full blood work, not just for the sake of health, but for the sake of any diseases or any residual problems that I might have to look up, you know, and get ready for, like if I'm pre-diabetic or whatever else, I want to make some changes. And I didn't realize that I had a cholesterol problem. It was all diet.
Yeah.
I was eating nothing but processed foods for you know, a pretty good stretch, and it's just not a good thing to do. So.
Deli food. I remember we used to stop at the Jitterbugs Deli and come out with wings
Take
or what?
half of everything they had.
Yeah, I had. I think it was about 2 years ago. I went and had another full panel done,
Yeah.
and my LDL was at 199,
Yeah.
and it's not even borderline. That's high.
Yeah, it's high.
That's high, and just a month ago I went and had full panel done again, and I'm at 126 now.
Wow. Yeah.
That's vast improvement. That's just at normal.
Yeah.
Just at normal. I could be healthier, but again, I attribute it to my diet. I
Your
don't
diet,
make
yeah.
the greatest effort in the world to eat healthy. I still I can't help it, man. All that shit food tastes good.
If something's fucking delicious, I'm still gonna have it once in a while.
Yeah,
It just,
not me. That shit food tastes good,
It does.
and it's
Yeah,
easy.
It's good.
It's easy to drive up to McDonald's and say, "Give me that." Da da da.
It's gonna take you 7 minutes.
Yeah.
From here, and yeah.
And then you have that shitty food in front of you to
You
eat
have
that
it in
tastes
your mouth.
great. That tastes fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Or you could spend an hour making yourself a really good healthy meal, but then again that comes down to laziness.
It's true. Yeah, you're putting in some effort into your food. That's probably why I don't gain weight. Is because like I put some energy and I dance around the
Yeah,
kitchen. And
yeah,
shit.
and I like to cook.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I like to cook and I like having a really good home cooked meal.
Yeah.
But that other shit's so easy. And that's the problem with America too, is that we're
Yeah.
all so fucking lazy
Mm-hmm.
that we'll just go to McDonald's and get that easy meal that tastes
Yeah.
great.
And then I eat as many whole foods as possible. There's actually a chain of food stores called Whole Foods that tries to promote the message:
Yeah.
eat natural, buy local, everything else.
And
But everybody's biggest complaint is it costs
so
more.
much. Yeah, that's what I was
Yeah.
just going to say, is that, that great food for you
Yep.
is horrible for your wallet.
Yeah.
I
true.
mean, it sucks.
Yeah.
You pay for what you get.
Yeah.
If you want a great body, you want to be healthy, you want to eat well, you're going to have to pay more for it.
That's very true. You're gonna have to put in some effort because this country made it too easy to be a piece of shit.
Yeah, but there's that inequality thing of the one percenters again, though.
Yeah.
There's such a issue with you make too much to qualify for some programs, and I believe in the social issue because of the oppression. I mean, you work hard for what you do.
Yep.
But there's that 1% that's taking everything away from everybody.
True.
And I believe in social programs as long as they're done to get somebody off of it.
Yep. Yeah, and there's got to be more accountability to say how are you bettering yourself.
Yeah, there's no following to make sure these people are using the programs to get off of them.
Yeah, and if somebody isn't trying that hard and they get cut off and they don't have a family that cares, and if eventually and unfortunately they die, again, it's just natural selection.
Yeah, there's so many people take advantage of the programs.
Yep.
And they don't do anything to improve themselves.
Nothing. Yeah.
But sometimes I don't know. Sometimes it's the program's fault because they
You
just
know.
they do it. They let them do it. They
Yeah.
let them do it.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's no responsibility. There's no checks and balances
There's nobody to slap
in those
their
social.
hand
Yeah,
and
those social.
kinda-
But the food inequality thing, the cost of it all, it's, I don't know. It makes it difficult for people to eat well when it's cheaper to buy shit food.
It's very true. Yeah.
Empty calories. They're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very
True.
cheap. Very cheap to make. Good food is expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably part of. It is the problem, I think. Well, not the whole problem, but it's part of the problem.
No, but personal choice and better decision making is a big part of it.
Yeah,
too,
I mean, I'm sure people could tighten their belts up and eat 4 out of 5 meals or 4 days out of a week better.
Yep. Yeah.
Even that little bit will help.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a
And
start.
then a part of it too is, I don't know. It's a balance of how you want to spend your money. I don't eat as much as I do now as I used to then.
Yeah.
But supplementation's a big part of that too.
Oh yeah, man. I was telling you earlier too that a few conversations that we've had is that supplementation. These supplements nowadays, they're no joke.
No.
I mean,
yeah.
even I first took supplements when I was 19 years old,
Yeah.
and
20 years ago.
I went to boot camp at 180 pounds, right?
Yeah.
And I had a gut, even at 18 years old, because I
Mhm.
was doing nothing before I went. I sat on my ass at
Yeah.
work because I worked a graveyard shift and slept all day and went to work, sat on my ass. But I went to boot camp and I lost 40 pounds. Actually, 35 pounds. I got down to 145 pounds, right? I was a little skinny dude again. I was in shape because of boot camp,
Yes.
but then I got to my ship and we deployed probably a year later.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine and I said, hey, why don't we just lift weights the entire time for 6 months and
See what happens.
start taking creatine,
Mhm.
DHEA,
Yeah.
a couple other supplements I cannot remember now because it's been so
Probably
long.
Some type of protein. Or something.
Yeah, we took like 5 different things. And back then creatine was brand new.
Yeah.
That was back in 1997. It was brand new,
I remember those days.
and it was just a thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to test that that stuff works
Yeah.
because it was shitty back then. It didn't dissolve in water. It still
No.
doesn't really that great, but
Yeah.
I remember drinking. We mixed it with grape juice
Yeah.
after our weight sessions, and it would be gritty. You would chew on it more than
Yeah.
you would drink it.
Yeah, of course, yeah, I used to take it too. I mean, back in 94, 95, I used to weigh 165 pounds.
Holy Jesus!
There was
Yeah.
nothing to. I would look like this mic stand.
It's pretty fucking skinny. You can see through it.
Yeah.
But in the course of 6 months, we hit the weights really hard. Probably worked out 6-7 days a week, right?
Yeah.
Because there was nothing else to do. We're deployed
Mm-hmm.
overseas, and I put on 45 pounds
Of muscle.
in 6 months of pure muscle. Pure muscle. I went from 145 pounds to 180, 190. 185, excuse me, 190.
Yeah. And it's like the pre-workout stuff too. We talked about that
Yeah.
and how incredible it is.
Oh yeah. I started working out again probably back in April of this year,
Yeah.
and hitting it pretty hard. But I had no real hardcore gains. I was getting a little bit stronger, and not really seeing massive gains. And I was working out 6 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I come home, and I could see muscle mass now.
Mm-hmm.
And improvement.
Hey, you got to try this shit.
Yeah, Bob goes try out the C4, right? And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll try it out. Bam, try it and go work out. And man, I had just nothing but energy.
Oh yeah, I mean you could work out at least 3 times as hard, and you keep your results. Too.
Yeah, and it's got creatine in it, so it helps build your muscle. And
It's got a brain complex, so you could think and shit.
oh man, it's great. Supplements work.
Yeah.
And
Another,
yeah.
I guess interesting nugget about pre-workouts. I mean, there's a lot of uses for them, but mutual friend that we have has a kind of a debilitating
oh yeah.
health issue. And one day I was going to help that person do something, and I was mixing up,
She's got chronic fatigue.
fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
And so I was mixing that stuff up, and she said, "What is that?" And I explained it. And, well, what's in it? And I broke it all down. It's got a muscle and a recovery and a brain and a metabolite.
I wonder what
and
would happen to her if
everything
she took that every day.
else. Well, she was. However, I don't think there was anything consistent.
Yeah.
About it, but she took she drank half of it. Half of what I take to do my workouts, and she didn't have any symptoms from her fibromyalgia for 10 days.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so that's pretty incredible too.
Yeah.
And after I got done listing, this is what's in it and this is what it does, she said, "Well, that's all the things that's wrong with me. Let me try it." And
Yeah.
I said, "Well, if it gives you a heart attack, I'm not liable for that because this is pretty powerful shit."
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, 10 days without symptoms is just crazy. And
Yeah.
a couple of friends of mine that party pretty hard. I was doing some meetings with some people, and the night before, one of the guys that was to take part in this meeting might have overdone it the night before.
Yeah.
And he got up, and I mean, he looked like death warmed over. And I said, "You're gonna have to sharpen it up, pal. Something's gonna have to happen." And I went and worked out at 6 o'clock that morning. I'm trying to wake him up 3 hours later at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking it's not gonna happen. And so I said, "Hold on." I went back to my room. I mixed up some of this pre-workout, and I said, "Start drinking this right now and start moving around as much as you can." I said, "Even though it hurts." 15 minutes later, no hangover, nothing.
What?
The
Really?
guy,
Yeah.
the guy was fine the rest of the day, and the conversations were pretty demanding, and he didn't skip a beat.
Really? Yeah.
And I mean,
That,
physically, he didn't even look, like he overdid it the night before.
that says it all right there. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't drink anymore, and you've never drank, and having never experienced a hangover,
yeah,
they are debilitating. I'm here to tell you now. Of course, alcohol poisons you.
yes,
I mean, that's what gets you drunk because your liver can't metabolize
yeah,
the amount that you take in, so the rest is flushed into your system, and that's what gets you drunk.
yeah,
Um, it's also what gives you the hangover, and it is absolutely debilitating. Your brain is without water, it's dehydrated,
yeah,
it can't function. Your body's dehydrated, it can't function, and you're hurting, and you want to die.
yeah.
Sometimes you want to die. You just want to say, "I want this to end."
Yeah, and I'm glad I've never done that to myself, and I'm
And-
never going to.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't miss it. I
Yeah.
tell you, I'm what I miss is the social lubrication of it.
True, yeah. If you're awkward and you need help,
Yeah, but I tell you, I'm getting past that.
yeah.
I used to.
I was pretty horrible. I
Yeah.
used to be pretty horrible.
Yeah, and I'm getting used to being able to get to alcohol being the social lubricant that it is. I was able to joke easier and but I'm getting past that now and able to joke and have a good time with drunk people.
Yeah, and now you see how hard it is to do when you've been sober your whole life.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
But
But
it's
that
pretty great.
supplements. If I couldn't imagine. I should have tried out on one of my friends that are.
that are hanging over.
Yeah.
For sure.
Just give them a shot of that and see what it does. Yeah.
That's true.
If it could cure fibromyalgia for 10 days, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then take a hangover away in 15 minutes, and you're still good for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And I keep telling all my friends with legal shit like this, why are you spending 20 times more money doing illegal stuff that isn't as good and
Yeah.
beneficial to your body?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. That supplement C4 gives you a high.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I mean, it makes my face tingle.
Yeah.
And I gotta do something right now. Like, I feel pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on the verge of becoming the best human being that I could be. That's what I feel like.
It sharpens everything. Yeah, there's sometimes where I remember taking it too soon and then going to work out and just dragging ass at first and saying, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah, it's true.
And then
And then once it kicks in,
I'm like, bam. I'm like, holy shit. All right,
Yeah.
let's get rid of this energy by putting forth some effort on working out.
yeah, you have to do something. You have to have something
Yeah.
to do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not bad for you.
No.
It has everything in it, like you said, that helps your body.
Yep.
And
And
so
it's legal.
it's legal.
And I mean, you get a month's supply of it for $1 a day. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Are you kidding me?
Oh yeah. It's good
and
stuff.
then, I mean, it's still illegal. No, what was I going to say? I guess there's a few other things like nootropics that I like
Nootropics.
to use, like Alpha Brain that I get from Onnit.com.
Oh yeah.
Free plug.
Yeah.
And then newmood.com too. Alpha Brain just allows your body to more easily and readily produce neurotransmitters to promote brain function. And I love that shit. And then at the same, well, not even conversely, but just to make me feel better and just to balance me out, I like to take New Mood, which helps you produce a healthy level of serotonin and just keep you.
And it's all natural.
Yeah, it's all natural stuff.
Yeah, it's not a putting in a chemical into your
Yeah.
body that's not naturally that's produced or synthesized in a lab.
Yeah.
Stuff is all natural.
Yeah, it gives the fuel for your body just to produce that stuff. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather take that any day than anything else. Another natural thing, I guess, that I was getting to, that's still illegal here unless you talk to a doctor about it, is marijuana. That's the only thing that I've done. And one thing that I compare the New Mood to is that, because it allows me to turn off my brain,
Oh yeah.
not completely, so
Yeah.
that I'm a mushing idiot melting into the couch, but I enjoy that it just allows me to relax, and it takes away your ego.
Yeah.
Not as extreme as psychedelics or hallucinogens would, but it just allows you to, kind
Chill
of
out.
reprioritize everything and say, this is what you should be doing with your life.
Yeah.
This is what you should be doing with your energy. So
Yeah. And alcohol,
it's a fucking killer.
it's damaging
Yeah.
in so many ways. Socially, it's damaging. No, some people can drink responsibly, but it has the ability to turn a lot of people into assholes. Once they start consuming it, they get to a point where a switch flips on and they turn into fucking assholes on alcohol.
It's very true. Yeah, it's a personality amplifier.
Yeah, and
I'd hate to see me on.
no shit. Yeah, that's true. But it's legal,
Yeah.
and it destroys so much of your body.
Yeah.
It destroys relationships.
Yep.
It destroys a whole bunch of shit, and it's legal. And if I had the capability or the capacity to be able to use marijuana, I probably would.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I have my qualms about it too, because I have a son,
Yeah.
a 9-year-old son, and I wouldn't want him to
Be
use it.
exposed to it that early.
Yeah, be exposed to it now,
Yeah.
and at this age, his brain is still developing.
Yeah.
And I'm all into people doing whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah. Personal choice. Absolutely.
But he's a kid,
Yeah.
and I want him to make the decision when he's an adult.
Yeah, and that's one of the advantages that I had too, was I didn't use it until my brain was completely developed. It
Yeah.
was well after I was 25. I think I was 28 at the time.
Yeah.
And the reason I did it was for medical reasons. I'm a very clean guy. I've never drank. I haven't done any pills or put anything up my nose or
Yeah.
blasted anything in my veins or whatever. But I was convinced by my partner at the time that this wasn't going to hurt me.
Partner?
Yeah, female partner that isn't the female partner anymore.
Okay.
No need to elaborate on that, but she had the medical marijuana card, and she was using it for the issues that she got, granted this card for.
Yeah.
So I was recovering from a surgery, and I don't take medication very well at all. I just don't. However, I'd had my tonsils removed. I had a tonsillectomy because I just had some chronic swelling. I don't know if it's from my diet or what. It probably was from my diet. But I got them taken out, and the older you get, the worse that procedure is. And it was horrible.
Yeah.
And I had to take something for the pain all the time. What they had gave me was liquid Lortab, liquid hydrocodone, whatever.
Yeah, so you could drink it and swallow it. Yeah.
And I had to take, like 6 or 8 milliliters of this stuff every 4 hours.
Holy shit.
So the end of the first day, I was out of my fucking mind.
Yeah.
There was literally stages where I was just blanked out. I didn't remember anything. I was acting like an asshole.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. And she said, you need to stop taking this shit.
Yeah.
It's turning you into a completely different person. I take this stuff, I smoke this stuff, or I eat it, or however, was the best way that she could get it from the distributor or caregiver at the time, was.
Yeah.
And she said, I'll never let you drink or do anything else. I'm not going to let you do anything that's going to hurt you. This isn't going to hurt you.
Yeah.
It works for me. That's why I do it. You need to try it.
Yeah.
You need to stop taking this shit. And that's what it was. It was fucking poison. But
Yeah.
I had to do something for the pain. I had to. And I couldn't sleep because the pain would wake me up. I'd have to drink some more.
Yeah.
It was getting to be debilitating. And I was dependent on it just because of the pain. I had to do something. And so one day I decided, whatever. While she was smoking, I partook. And I'll never do anything other than that for pain again. Well, except for kratom. Kratom's pretty awesome.
What is kratom?
You're going to have to look it up. It's a leaf. It's a natural pain reliever. But I think it's Kratom. TIM or TUM. I can't remember, but it's just the best thing for natural pain relief.
It's kratom.
Hmm.
Okay, hold on a second here.
I'm not gonna hold on. I'm gonna keep blabbering. Anyway, I was pain free for that first 12 hours. You know, and I barely smoked any.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even in the purest form that it could be. My appetite came back because I couldn't eat while I was on that shit. I was able to sleep. I mean, that's once it kicked in, and I thought, oh, this is great. What a sense of relief.
Really?
And so I just sat there. Well, I mean, I'm not talking about kratom. I'm talking about the marijuana still right
Oh,
now.
yeah, okay.
But the kratom, yeah, it's just as amazing. It doesn't give you, you know.
Is it illegal?
No, it's still legal.
Really? It's all natural, right?
It could be just in lieu of the fact that it is all natural and it's so effective, and you know, some person in a suit and a big fucking fat belly isn't making $1 million off of it. It could be illegal.
Mitragenia specosia kratom is a tropical deciduous and evergreen tree. What?
Yeah.
How could it be deciduous and evergreen at the same time?
Yeah. Whoever wrote that doesn't know what
Well, it's
they're talking
Wikipedia, so there you go. Probably not the most
about.
reputable place to go find your information,
Very true.
because anybody could change it. Anyway, tropical deciduous and evergreen tree in the coffee family. Huh.
Yeah.
Native to South Asia and the Indochina and Malaysia floristic regions. Its leaves are used for medicinal properties. It is psychoactive. And leaves are chewed to uplift mood and treat health problems.
Yeah.
It's indigenous to Thailand, despite growing naturally in the country, has been outlawed for 70 years and was originally banned because it was reducing the Thai government's tax revenue. Well, there you go.
Yeah. See.
There you go.
If some fat ass isn't making $1 million off it, it's probably illegal.
Exactly.
And that was the whole idea with the illegalization of marijuana, which is just fucking ridiculous.
Well,
but it worked. It worked for me. I'll never do anything. I can't now.
Yeah.
Because of my job.
Yeah.
And I get tested for it. And then if I'm going to explore that avenue again,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it as legitimately as possible. I won't do it now just because I like my job. I want to keep it. I get tested with my job. I want to be in compliance with that.
Yeah.
They pay the bills. I'm going to keep them happy. But if something came along to where the circumstances dictate that I should use that as a preferred method for whatever ails me, then that's exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, Colorado and Washington have made it legal for a reason.
There was a movement called Reefer Madness.
Yep.
I think it was started back in the 50s. I'm not even sure exactly when. It was around the time that Vietnam and all the troops were coming home and smoking a lot of weed or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Nixon outlawed it, made it a Schedule 1. But the ideas and the issues behind it they're all wrong.
Yeah,
The reasons for banning it are all wrong.
Yeah, Nixon was just the avenue to carry out William Randolph Hearst's agenda because he was making so much money off of cotton.
Uh-huh. And
was,
hemp would have probably...
Hemp is so far superior to cotton.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's finally coming back out. I mean, mostly through the advent of social media and everything else, everybody says the stuff is just so much better. Start using it. When popular opinion gets to a certain point, then it just overthrows.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's happening now. Now is there's a movement and a turnaround, a turnabout about the idea of marijuana being this horrible drug for you.
Yeah,
and
it's never killed anybody.
It's a plant.
There's no documented death of this plant killing anybody.
Yeah, it's a plant.
Yeah.
And even today, President Obama made a
very recently, the last few days, he said alcohol is obviously less dangerous. Marijuana is obviously less dangerous
than alcohol.
Yeah.
There's been a little blowback against that by, of course, some people that don't want
financial gain.
But when the President of the United States makes a statement like that, it's got to have an impact.
Yeah, it resonates with a lot of people. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm a very productive guy. I'm
Yeah.
very intelligent, and motivated. I'm in extremely good shape because I do extreme shit to try to get this way.
Yeah.
And
Marijuana is
tell-
not going to make you a lazy person.
no, yeah, I could tell anybody. I mean, especially because like I said, my brain is fully developed, and I've
Yeah.
partook after that stage.
Yeah.
But anybody could be brought to that point. You could give anything to anybody and say, "This is the way you use it responsibly.
Yeah.
This is why you should use it responsibly. This is what happens if you don't." I mean, if you
Yeah.
don't use anything responsibly, you're going to be a piece of shit.
Oh yeah,
So-
that. I don't drink right now because I didn't use alcohol responsibly.
Mhm.
I'm one of those people that it turned into an asshole.
Yeah, it's true.
And
An asshole.
and I have to tend to agree that marijuana is less dangerous
Mhm.
than alcohol.
Yeah.
But he called it a social experiment by Washington and Colorado making marijuana legal.
Yeah.
I think it's going to succeed.
Yeah.
It's going to within 5 years, it's going to be taken off as a class Schedule 1.
Yeah, I agree.
It's going to be unscheduled.
Mhm.
And one of the things is Montana was one of the few first ones to pass marijuana's medical usage and
Yep.
being able to use it medically. But what I didn't understand is when President Obama got elected into office, he said he was going to not focus on marijuana prosecutions
Federally. Yeah.
federally. However,
Some other interest groups that stood to gain.
well, not only that,
Prison guard unions.
the U.S. prosecutors, USAs, act sometimes on their own,
Mm-hmm.
although they are under the direction of the Justice Department, under the direction of the President. The AUSA here in Montana
Yep.
decided that he didn't like Montana's state law
Yeah.
and decided to prosecute those people that were
Doing well.
doing well.
Yeah.
And shut down the entire law and shut down everything in Montana.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time,
That was a mistake.
yeah, at the same time, within a year, Colorado passed their law,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's people sitting in federal prison from Montana that were
In Colorado.
following state law
Yeah.
in Montana
Yeah,
because the AUSA decided he wanted to be a hard ass.
Yeah, and the ridiculous thing that happened in this state was the Supreme Court said that in your defense, in your federal defense of a marijuana crime, you cannot use any language that even suggests that you are following state law.
Yeah, yeah,
Everything
no.
was state legal. How fucking ridiculous is that?
No, yeah, it was purely viewed as a federal crime, and you couldn't use any defense that you were following state law. Period. At all.
Yeah, it's
No,
ridiculous.
you were a criminal federally,
Yep.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Even though the state of Montana said you're okay, no, you're a federal criminal.
Mhm.
And now, it to me that's just an abuse of power.
It is absolutely
Because where's Colorado's AUSA? He's like, okay, I'm going to let the state do their thing.
yeah, fuck it.
Same with Washington.
Yeah.
Same with most 90% of the other states that have even a medical marijuana law.
Yeah.
Montana's AUSA, I don't know why, he did say, I don't care what the standard is going to be anywhere else. In Montana, it's going to be illegal.
Yeah, and I've worked a few years in the capacity of a legal professional that makes those same decisions and takes those actions tribally. And the one time in those 3 years, I'll say, I guess, there was one person that was prosecuted for a marijuana crime. And what happened in the end of that was the guy just said, I'll plead guilty and pay a fine. So I said, okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Because I talked to a few people that were involved, and through my own work, I just determined that it's completely a victimless crime. There was no victim. And I expected that there might have been a little bit of backlash because of my decision.
Yeah.
None. Nobody cared.
Yeah. It's, that's the popular view.
Yeah.
And
That
this
is
nation
bad.
is founded on popular view.
Yeah.
We didn't like the way England was taxing us to death.
Yep.
It was unpopular, so we did something about it.
It's true.
So, and we're doing something about that marijuana law now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, like I said, I'm an advocate for people doing whatever the hell they want to,
Yeah.
as long as they're not killing, hurting, or murdering anybody.
Yep.
You know, do whatever you want to do to your body. But
Yeah.
there's nothing, personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with marijuana. I mean, I'm not doing it myself,
Yeah.
but, you know.
If
That's,
somebody else does, you
Yeah,
don't have
that's-
any adverse opinion on
yeah,
that.
no, huh?
And that's the whole point of the criminal justice system. I mean, I respect the criminal justice system. I'm still a part of it. But if there is something that is contextually a crime, however, the circumstances of it dictate that it is victimless,
Yeah.
and a person is not even hurting themselves, then it shouldn't be a crime. It just shouldn't.
Yeah.
You know, because like I said, marijuana has never killed anybody.
No.
It has its benefits.
Well,
Thomas Chong from Cheech and Chong
Yeah.
is cancer free because he used hash oil.
yeah,
And
that just blows my mind. Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
crazy.
Are
Yeah.
you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah, it's all natural, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't say the same thing about cocaine,
Mhm.
heroin. You know, all of those things are synthesis. I mean, although heroin comes from a plant,
Yeah.
but they break it down into to a point that it's
yeah,
just a
it's-
chemical.
Yeah, it's horrible shit for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a chemical. And it
And that's the funny thing too is marijuana is illegal. You go to prison for that. But if you're hooked on heroin, you should stop taking it because the government has something they can give you in its place.
methadone.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
That's just legal. That's just another form of heroin.
Stop using that Afghani stuff. Use some of our local stuff.
Exactly.
That we made for
Yeah.
you.
Here you go. Take this instead. It might help you
Yeah.
get off of heroin.
It's probably going to kill you.
Yeah.
It's just as addictive.
Yeah.
But, you know, at least it's coming from us.
Yeah. If you smoked marijuana every day, multiple times a day, for most of your life, and you suddenly stopped one day, you're not gonna have.
Your body's not going to kill you because it's not getting it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not. You're not going to have a a
Withdrawal.
withdrawal. Why couldn't I think of that word? But yeah, you're
Because
not
you
gonna. I have the number right now. But you're not gonna withdraw from marijuana and freaking keel over and
No.
have to be hospitalized.
Yeah.
It's not true for cocaine. It's not true for heroin. It's not true for
Prescription narcotics.
prescription narcotics. Prescription narcotics, man. All those opiates
Yeah.
that are prescribed,
all
you
opiates.
take those every day.
Oh, fuck. I took them while I was trying to recover from that surgery.
Yeah.
It did horrible things. to
Yeah,
me, dude.
you know, and then doctors say, "Here, take those every day
Yeah.
for a long time."
Drink this.
Yeah.
You need it.
And then what if your insurance runs out? You can't get it anymore. You're
Mhm.
going to have withdrawals. You might die from not taking it.
Yeah.
Your body says, "I want that some more."
Yep.
If you're not going to give it to me, then I don't want to live anymore.
Yeah. You'd be like Bob Saget sucking dick for pills.
Did you ever? I'm addicted to
I've seen it.
marijuana.
You smoke pot?
Yeah.
You smoke pot?
You ever smoke? You ever suck dick for pot?
I've seen him.
I seen him. Yeah, it just it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, unfortunately, that's what the criminal justice system is coming to, and I know that circumstantially you might not want to speak to it, but unless somebody has a financial gain,
Yeah.
there's going to be some different decisions that are going to be made. That's the problem with marijuana is prison guard unions, because there are so many private prisons in this country. We have 2 in this state, I
Yeah.
want to say. And a good percentage of those people are in there because of minimum mandatory drug sentencing. People got caught with a joint in their pocket,
Oh yeah.
and they have to sit for 20 fucking years. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And where or who is the victim? And realistically,
Well,
yeah.
you know, there's a little bit of a turnabout about that. There has about 15 years ago. There's a couple of God, I can't think right now.
You need some alpha brain.
I do need some alpha brain. When a police officer has jurisdictions, there's a few jurisdictions that had decided to implement what's called a drug court.
Yes.
And instead of throwing the book at these people that had a drug problem,
They said you fix it.
yeah, let's try to fix you first.
Yep.
If we can't fix you, then you're gonna have to go to to prison. But in the meantime,
Mhm.
you have an addiction, you have a problem. Let's focus on the problem instead of the drug right now.
Yep.
And
Exactly. Yeah,
and that they just started one here in Havre.
that's true. Yeah.
They're that surprises me. They started one in Havre.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
Because of what it is.
It's a very progressive idea.
Yes.
Very progressive.
Yes.
And Havre's old school. It's more like you pissed off your neighbor. All right, you need to go to jail for a little while because your neighbor makes a lot of money.
Yeah, your neighbor has some influence around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're renting next to that guy?
Yeah. Well, guess who?
Oh, you're just a renter,
guess
so
who's
yeah.
getting the shit end of the stick?
Yeah.
Boy.
Exactly. And but I'm surprised that they implemented that here. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
It's impressive.
That is a change, and they're actually starting to. There's some things changing in this country that makes sense, but there's still a whole lot to fix. They're changing the three strikes laws.
Yes.
They're changing the drug laws because they're ridiculous. Send a person to prison for fucking 20 years for possessing 20 pounds of pot.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. None of that makes sense.
Doesn't.
Let's send the people that fucking kill people to prison. That
For more than 7 years.
yeah. It's
How
a
about
discrepancy. It just doesn't make sense.
Because they're just going to get out and kill somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what they do. Fucking kill them. Make the world lighter. Let's get rid of some asshole.
Yeah. I don't know how I've never really sat down and thought coherently and thoroughly about the death penalty.
Yeah.
Being a Christian, there's the eye for an eye, tooth for tooth thing.
The Code of Hammurabi.
Yes, but I also happen to agree and align with the MLK and the Gandhi things about love.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things Gandhi said was, if you do eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, the world's going to become blind.
Yeah.
And
gum everybody.
gum everybody, bump into everybody because you can't see them. But no, I don't know what I think about the death penalty. I've read lots of studies saying that it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Because it's not a deterrent. Look at Texas. Texas has probably it's a killing machine.
Yes.
I kill like 50 people a year there on a death, and people are still killing other people there.
Mm-hmm.
Capital punishment is a massive thing there, but it's not stopping murder rates.
Yeah.
It's not slowing them down. I mean, that says something. But then again, if you commit a heinous crime, if you fucking molest and kill a 3-year-old, you don't deserve to live in this world.
No, that's true. Yeah, and
Because-
I think that's one of those instances where street justice works best because
What kind of piece of shit motherfucking asshole are you that there's something wrong in your head and you're never going to fix that if you can molest and kill a little kid?
Yeah, that's one thing I've never stood for. I mean, I was pretty passionate about our work for the police department that we've worked for. Is nobody's going to fuck around with anybody's kids.
Yeah,
on my
yeah.
watch.
I mean, they are helpless.
Yeah.
They can't help themselves. They are told what to do every day.
Yeah,
So
like me.
yeah, and if you take advantage of that,
Yeah,
you're a piece of shit, and you don't deserve to be walking around free.
that's very true. Yeah, and it's just, I don't know, it's a crazy thing. I love kids, I really do. I'm not going to have any. I still don't have any. And, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of conversation that contributes to that, and that decision comes from there are enough people on this earth, and I think I'm not going to make a difference by myself in not having children, but I just don't want to. My lifestyle just dictates that. I'm extremely busy.
Well,
And I'm still pretty nomadic.
Yeah.
Even though I do have my roots here, I get up and go pretty regularly.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that freedom. So.
Yeah, there was a point in my life where I didn't want kids.
Mm-hmm.
I did not want kids. In fact, I called myself daddy all the time.
Yeah.
And made fun of people that had kids. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
they tie you down, It's and my son was an accident.
Yeah.
He wasn't planned. I love
He
him.
wasn't planned. He's not an accident, but he wasn't planned.
He wasn't planned. Okay, it wasn't an accident. Sorry, Landon. You were not an accident, but you weren't planned, and you. But I never wanted to be a parent. But I won't take. I wouldn't trade it for anything right now.
Yeah.
I love. I love my boy.
Yeah.
I love the experience of experiencing things through him.
Yeah.
Watching him do something for the first time.
It's pretty awesome.
Watching him learn. It's a definite experience, and I love being a dad.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the thing. You brought a child into this world. You didn't want to be a parent, but you're going to be a parent because you're not a piece of shit.
Yeah, it's hard work sometimes, but it's fun too.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. I mean, just because we're good friends, we're close friends. Anytime
Yeah.
I could be around just to observe him or
Oh,
have
yeah.
any kind of influence on him, I enjoy it quite a bit. So
You directly influence him by us going to the gym, and we bring him with sometimes.
yeah,
True,
yeah,
and he's pretty athletic and he enjoys it.
yeah.
And so it's fun. Yeah, but. Yeah, parenting is not for everybody, man. There are some shitty parents out there.
Sure are. You know who the fuck you are.
There's some people, if you need a license to drive a car, to operate a vehicle,
Yeah, you should
but
have a license to be a parent.
Oh man, you should. It's ridiculous.
Holy cow.
I just don't. Some people bring a kid in this world, and you're over there, kid. You don't do anything unless I'm saying so. Or in fact, I'm not even gonna pay attention to you.
Yeah.
Do whatever the hell you want to, and they just grow up to be another piece of shit.
You people. You know who you are.
You know who you are. China, in fact, had a law only because of population size that you could only have 2 kids there.
Yeah.
In fact, was it 2 kids or 1? I think it was 2.
I think it's 1.
It was 1.
You could have 2 if it's a female, something like that.
Yeah.
I can't
Well, they
remember.
changed it now.
Yeah.
Now you can have more than 2 kids there.
Oh, yeah.
They just changed it last year, but that's the largest, most densely populated country in the world. They have
Oh, it's
1.2
crazy.
billion people.
Yeah,
They don't need. Why?
They love the cream pie. That's why.
They love the cream pie. Yeah.
See, I enjoy sex a lot. It's my vice. When everybody else drinks and does drugs, and
You're out fucking.
steals and does all that other stuff, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
And when the conversation does come up, I don't avoid it because I'm completely confident with myself and
Yeah.
everything else. However much I do enjoy it, I'm also safe. That's why I do not have any children.
Yeah.
I do not have any diseases. If I can get to this point in my life to where I have that status still, anybody can.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Self-control.
Anything can be. Yeah. If you can control yourself, you can do whatever you want. I don't think that you could try heroin once. I don't think you could try meth once. I don't think I've met anybody that's tried that once.
I tend to agree. When I lived in Georgia, I worked at a bar and partied with a couple of guys from the bar. And one of the guys, we used to go to a different bar after we closed ours.
Yeah.
And one time we're in the taxi heading to the bar, and he goes, "Hold on, I got to make a quick stop." But when we got into the taxi, he knew both the drivers
Yeah.
by first name.
Huh.
And I thought that was kind of weird because there's 1,000 fucking taxi cabs where I was living.
Sure. Yeah.
And he goes, "Hey, can you guys get me some?" I'm like, "What the what? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
He goes, "Don't." And we drove to this really shitty fucking neighborhood. It was like not a ghetto. It was like the projects because there was nothing but apartment buildings here,
Yeah.
here, and here.
High rise.
They weren't high rises. No, they
No.
were just they were single
Okay.
level, but there was thousands of them.
Yeah.
And we pull up to this one area, and the passenger gets out, and this passenger rode around with the taxi driver all the time.
Yeah.
Gets out, he comes back, and my friend goes, "How much?" He goes, $60. And I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?" And I didn't, I'm just sitting there thinking, and
Yeah.
it's 2:00 in the morning, and he hands my friend something, and he goes, "Well, I'm gonna try it." Okay.
Yeah.
And my friend pulls out this glass pipe,
Wow.
and I, looking and knowing him, I would have never guessed that he smoked crack.
Yeah. Wow.
Ever. He was
Like the mayor of Toronto.
he's yeah. That's fucking ridiculous. But this guy, he came from a good family.
Yeah.
He was a white kid. He was probably 29 or 30 at the time, and well spoken.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bartender,
Yeah.
but just looking at him, you would never guess that he smoked crack.
Had to have his crack.
Yeah, and I remember he buys it after he tests it, and we're at the bar and we're walking in. He goes, "You want to try some?" I'm like, "Are you fucking crazy?"
Not even once.
No, I'm like
No.
that, and that's one of the biggest reasons I would never ever have tried any of those drugs, because one time, and you could be addicted.
That's it. Yeah, and I mean, self-control is one thing, but there's a lot of pretty fucking powerful influences out there. Like right now, I've lost or I'm losing somebody I love to meth.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm trying not to let it anymore, but it's fucking destroying me.
Yeah.
I'm depressed because of it.
Yeah. Well, it's because you don't want to see this person.
No.
You know what meth does to somebody.
I've seen it, yeah,
Yeah.
just from our
Experience,
years of
yeah.
work as police officers, not cops, like some people locally, but police officers.
Yeah, somebody you love is doing something that has the potential to destroy who they are.
It's going to kill them.
Yes.
There's no doubt. I've seen it happen. I know the patterns.
You just want to grab them and shake them and say, "What the fuck are you thinking?"
Yeah, and this person
And they're
has
not
done
anymore.
well, is going to do well. It's not the same person.
No.
It's not.
No.
You know, and it's crazy. It's a slap in the face. It's shocking because it's so close to home,
Yeah.
so to speak. But the reality of the situation is, this person told me at one point in time, which is kind of I mean, it still really bums me out. I'm still depressed about it. Not to a degree that I was, because, you know, I have functionality in my life and everything else that's, you know, kind of overwhelming to that. But this person said to me once, "You can't make me choose between you and this."
Yeah.
And I just thought, wow.
And, you know, part of you has to wonder, is that the drug talking?
Yeah.
And yeah.
Obviously.
It obviously is, yeah. It's not, that person is no longer the same person that you knew.
Nope.
At this point in time, they're not.
No, they're not. Yeah. So, and that's the other part of it too, is, you know, your lifestyle decisions make you a different person.
Yeah.
I don't get along with a certain amount of my relatives just because of the way that I choose to live. I don't get along with a pretty good amount of the population of the city just because of the way I choose to live.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm glad that I have an avenue like this to reach out to the rest of the world and, you know, all of my other relatives and friends and family across the country and
Yeah.
even the world that understand that I'm a progressive person. I always want to do better. I don't need to be stuck here and pass my money and my property on to my family and only let them enjoy it and
Yeah.
keep it, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Yeah, drugs they're, you know, and I had another experience there with another coworker that I didn't know either.
sucked your dick for
Oh
coke?
man, this guy, his dad, this sounds fucked up, but his dad wrote the book Deliverance. All right, and I worked with him. I'm not gonna say his name, but
Yeah, don't do that.
he was another educated guy. He had a degree in psychology, right? And he was smart as fuck. I loved sitting down and bullshitting with him because he not only was funny, but he was smart and he had a lot of good stories. But he was about 45 at the time,
Yeah.
and he was working in this fine dining restaurant with me, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a job for a guy that has a fucking degree in psychology,
Yeah.
you
What
know.
are you doing?
Yeah, and waiting tables,
Yeah.
and every day, his family owned a house in Atlanta,
Yeah.
but he was living in a hotel in Gainesville where I was living, and I just didn't understand it. And every day he would run into Atlanta,
Yeah.
right between meals. He would get off the lunch break, and you'd have about 4 hours before dinner started. So he would run into Atlanta. It's 53 miles,
Yeah.
and come back for dinner. And sometimes he'd be sweating profusely, right? And I'm like, dude, man, go to the bathroom and take care of that because you look disgusting.
Yeah. People don't want to see that shit.
Yeah. So he would go in the bathroom, and he'd come out looking like a new man.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is he doing in the bathroom? And I had no idea, right?
Working on.
Well, could be. But eventually I got to know him well enough, and we bullshit and talked, and I just like, man, this guy is interesting,
Yeah.
right? And so I hung out with him after work one time and at his little hotel that he lived in. I'm like, you live in a fucking hotel, guy? Why are you living in a hotel? You know, your dad wrote a book. It got made into a movie.
Mhm.
Owns lots of land up north. Why? What the fuck? He goes, I don't really talk to my parents right now.
Yeah.
I go, why the hell not? And he had a kid. He doesn't talk to his kid. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm a person that doesn't. I just accept you for whatever. What you do to yourself and whatever is your thing. And he went in the bathroom, and I hear a lighter spark up. And I'm like, "What the fuck you doing in there, man?" He goes, "You don't want to know."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, is it that bad? You're not going to tell me?" He goes, "Do you really want to know?" I'm like, "Sure, whatever,
Nosy.
Yeah. So he goes, I'm smoking heroin."
Wow.
I'm like, "Whoa, wait a second. You're fucking smoking heroin?" And what? Why? Because I don't know. I just tried it once a couple times, and I just have.
So
He goes, when I look like shit at work and I'm sweating all over the fucking place. He goes, I'm having withdrawals and I'm getting sick.
He needs to get his fix.
Yes, and I go in the bathroom. Either if I don't have it, I'm throwing up and fixing myself up the best I can, or I'm smoking it really quick so I can function the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And I go into Atlanta between meals to go buy it
Wow.
and come back. I take my tips that I earned from lunch to go spend it on heroin, come back, make my money in the evening to pay for my hotel and more heroin. And one time I rode in with him, and I fell asleep. And we wake up in a South Atlanta place called Techwood. It's just a fucked up shit. Why is every part of a town, the South End, shitty? I don't get that. But South Atlanta was shitty.
Yeah.
And I wake up and we're driving around this fucked up abandoned houses and shit.
Yeah.
And we pull up to the curb, and this little kid, I swear he's 12,
Yeah.
walks up, and that's who we bought the heroin from.
I
A
believe
12-year-old kid,
Yeah.
and he had a gun sticking in his coat pocket, sticking out. You could see it,
Yeah.
and that's how he walked around. No cop stopped him, nothing, and that's who we
Wow.
bought his fucking heroin from.
Yeah. Wow.
A 12-year-old kid.
That is crazy.
But that's what drugs do to you. And that's the reason he didn't speak to his parents.
Yeah.
But that was his life. I couldn't. That's the way he chose to live. I wasn't going to do anything about it. And he actually liked hanging out with me because I didn't judge him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why a lot of people like hanging out with me too, but
Yeah.
when this person told me that is a decision that they made, that's what they do to make them feel better and feel good about themselves, I couldn't believe it. And
Especially when you know that they are a good person and
Oh,
they don't need
fuck.
that to feel good about themselves.
I mean, well, yeah, when it's somebody that you love, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I couldn't not be judgmental. I just couldn't.
Yeah.
Because I knew what's happening right now and what's going to continue to happen wasn't going to be good.
Yeah. It's gonna go downhill.
Yeah, it's going to take something pretty extreme to get better, because I have friends that have done it that have gotten better.
Yeah.
But I know way too many people that have died or are still just nothing
Yeah.
because of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not a pretty.
the odds aren't in anybody's favor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, at one point, the prison population in Montana was in the prison. 85% of the population was in prison as a direct result of meth.
Oh yeah. I
At
believe
one
it.
point, there was a single guy, a millionaire, decided to become a philanthropist, and he started the Montana Meth Project.
Yep.
And
Oh,
it actually
what was his
worked.
name? Yeah,
And
it's working.
it's working. And the population, prison population, is down to like 40% or less
Mm-hmm.
as a direct result of meth.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably the worst and most destructive
Oh yeah.
drug. I mean,
Aside from alcohol.
aside from alcohol, heroin, you don't get crazy, you don't get nuts, it fucks up your body, and you might steal a little bit here and there to supplement your disease, but meth makes you fucking crazy.
It does, yeah. It makes you do crazy shit.
It
It makes everybody around you crazy. I mean, you don't have to do it to go crazy. You could be around somebody and say, "I can't fucking stand you. This is just way
You're
too
making
much
me nuts." Yeah,
stimulation,"
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
I when I was a police officer, one of my cousins, I was living in Fort Belknap. I came home off of work one day, and he's pacing around in my place, just pacing. And I'm like, "What the fuck's wrong with you?" Because I don't know, man. He goes, "Hey, are they coming after me?" I'm like, "Who's coming after you?" "Are the feds, man? Are they coming after
You
me?"
should have just said yeah.
I'm like, I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, why would they be coming after you? "I don't know, man, but you got to tell me. Are they coming after me?" I don't think so. Who the fuck? You're nobody.
Sure,
Why would they
sure.
be coming after you?
Yeah, they're going to be here in 3 minutes. You got 3 minutes.
And he goes to the bathroom and he comes out all sweaty and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck? He goes, man, I just fucking flushed all my weed. I said, you had fucking weed in my house? I'm a cop, man. He goes, yeah, but I got rid of it. Don't worry. But only because I'm pretty sure the feds are coming after me. He started peeking out the windows.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck? He goes, I don't know. I got to go. So he takes off.
Wow.
About a week later, catch up with him. I was like, what the fuck was your problem? He goes, oh, man, I fucking smoked meth that whole day. Like, holy shit, really?
Yeah.
He goes, yeah. And I said, well, the feds weren't. He goes, yeah, I know the feds aren't after me. I said, it was just the drug making him fucking paranoid because it's a fucked up drug.
It is, yeah. And, I mean, even after, because like I said, I've known people that have recovered from it.
Yeah.
But it took some pretty extreme circumstances.
Yeah.
And subconsciously, up to the point I made the realization, I've been trying to talk to these people, but the circumstances dictate that I shouldn't be talking to them because either they're still making bad decisions with their life, or somebody that they associate with doesn't like me or approve of me or anything else. But I can't sit there and try to sit down with everybody and have this conversation and say, okay, you guys are all here because you matter, but I'm talking to this person and trying to get advice from them and try to connect on a level to where I could get some closure and, self-comfort with this issue that I'm dealing with that's depressing me.
Yeah.
So it's, like everything's circumstantial and everybody's going to make their assumptions.
Yeah.
Because they're idiots.
Yeah. Well, the thing too is that when you're not talking to that person.
No.
You're talking to the drug.
Yep.
And you're not going to have a coherent conversation. You're not going to get through to them.
No.
You have a drug to break through first, and it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's just, the amount of irrational shit that's coming out of, that poisoned brain.
Yeah.
Has some pretty far-reaching effects. People are asking me different things about that person and their choices, like I have some kind of influence on it, and I don't. And a lot of people just can't understand that, especially when it comes to being in these small towns. So,
yeah.
It's frustrating because even though I've chosen just to not have anything to do with that person, it's just, it's just way too defeating and depressing for me to try to do that. So I just can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I have plenty of distractions. As selfish as it sounds, I have plenty of distractions that keep me thinking about other things.
Yeah.
But still, something always comes around, and it's just like...
She would have been your Yoko Ono in that video.
Yeah. Just sitting there like Chuck Berry looking all pissed off.
Yeah, there's that chick that, your buddy is just crazy as fuck.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't be with them.
You're just waiting for that fucking lightning bolt to come and snap him back into reality because it's obviously with a psychopath. I don't know anybody like that. Yeah. But when there's a toxic situation, you just need to get the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
And that's the plain and simple truth.
That's the plain and simple truth. But, love is a drug itself. It makes you fucking crazy.
It's the fucking worst. That's why I don't want to.
Yeah. It's been scientifically documented that a brain in love exhibits the same electrical patterns as a person that has some crazy disease or mind disease,
an addiction,
like schizophrenia.
Yeah.
It functions. You're fucked up when you're in love.
Yeah. And it's great. It's pretty fucking awesome, and I enjoy it. And I would do a lot of things to have it, but realistically, I'm pretty picky.
Yeah.
And I was influenced and convinced by the woman that matters most, my mother, that I should be.
Yeah.
Because I'm, like I've explained, I'm a pretty clean guy. I've got quite a few things going for me, and it would be very difficult for me to find a woman that could keep up with that.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, I'll just keep trying them out 2 at a time. Just kidding.
Double fisting?
No. Yeah. But my lifestyle choice now is, if I had to label myself, I would call myself an ethical non-monogamist. A popular term that could be applied to it would just be a friend with benefits. And I'm very open and upfront and honest about all of that.
Wait. Ethical
non-monogamist.
What are you basing your ethical term on?
The fact that I'm just honest about my terms I mean, I'm not just in it to get laid. I'm not, even though I enjoy that part. I'll do anything to be a friend, but I'm just going to be upfront and say I'm not looking to be emotional.
Yeah.
Um, most of this is to pass time and at least get the physicality of human interaction that we do desire
Oh man, yeah,
from each other. Because I mean, you have to have it. You just have to.
yeah,
The people that don't are going to go nuts, and I don't want to go nuts.
yeah, yeah. I the physical contact,
Yeah.
the even the minute amount of intimacy it goes a long way.
Oh, it does. Yeah. I mean, even hugging somebody for 20 seconds releases oxytocin,
Yeah.
and you're going to feel better as a human being because of it.
Same drug that causes an orgasm in a woman.
That's very true.
Or
yeah.
not drug.
I
What
don't-
is it? A hormone?
I don't know anything about that. I'm terrible in bed. I do not last long. No, but the reality of it is I'm very honest about it.
Yeah.
Because of that, I'm not going to get
Does that make it ethical that you're honest about it?
the honesty is what I think
Okay.
is the ethical, and then I'm clean too.
Yeah.
And I want my partners to be clean, and I
Yeah.
want to practice safely.
I think that what makes it ethical is not that you're honest about it, is that it's agreed upon by the other person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody's losing out in the situation. Nobody's feeling hurt about it
Yep.
because it's an agreed upon situation. I think
Yeah.
that's what makes it ethical. Is if you were doing it and the other
For
person
my
wasn't agreeing with it,
satisfaction,
yeah, then it would be unethical.
yeah. Satisfaction without reciprocation is exploitation.
There you go, and that's what makes it ethical.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm just upfront about it. And because of that, I don't get a whole lot of partners that want to engage in that type of relationship. But the ones that do are quality.
Yeah.
And there doesn't have to be a whole lot of dialogue. It's just agreed that this is the way things are going to happen.
Let's fuck.
Let's just fuck and talk about whatever we need to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, and if you
Facilitate
wanna-
fucking.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that is good too. I mean, that's something that I started doing early.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be good at it. And so, you know, I knew it was going to be important. It's
Yeah.
going to be an important thing. That's how you make people. That's why it feels so fucking incredible. I mean, because nature is really rewarding in these experiences to where you're supposed to do something that has anything to do with improving the quality of life and facilitating the production of life. I mean, the best feeling in the world, aside from drugs, I'm sure, is an orgasm.
Yeah, and that goes to
That's how you make people.
yeah.
Except for in my case.
Yeah, and that you're right. That
Practice.
part of human nature and instinct is to procreate,
Mm-hmm.
to make more people. And if having sex feels good, that goes to the nature of procreation.
Yeah, it says you're doing something right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that's. I always like to make the most out of every experience. I mean, everyone.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm at the gym, I'm going to be there until I fail.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in the bedroom, everybody's got to be satisfied. You should be pretty wore out. You know, sitting
Yeah.
there with a smile on your face. If I'm at work, I'm not going to leave work until I know I've done everything I could to try to reach my goals for that day, week, whatever.
Yeah.
That's the lifestyle that everybody should adopt.
Yeah.
That's the way I think, anyway. But what the fuck do I know?
yeah. You don't know much, man.
It's
yeah.
yeah.
But I got to take a break. I got to get a drink of water. Talk to yourself for a minute.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah, we could do that.
We've been talking for 2 hours. and
2 fucking hours?
13 minutes.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow, holy shit. Who knew we would get bullshit for that long?
So people can look at the small brain inside of this skull here while we're just bullshitting and thanking each other for the time.
Indeed.
And if there was a sponsor, this is where I would talk about you and tell everybody you need to go get your hands on some of that.
Well, I think we did a couple plugs already as far as C4 and
Some free
on it and
some free promotion.
free promotion. I mean, but all that stuff works and it's good for you, and
True. Just
it-
live a good life. That's all you should do.
live a good life, expand your knowledge,
Mhm.
learn, help a person out.
Love each other.
But there are instances where somebody says something fucked up in a like a judge or something.
Yep.
There was a judge here in Montana. He was a federal judge
Federal judge for a long time.
Yeah, that passed an email degrading the president, racially degrading the president.
Yeah.
And sometime if he was in a corporation and he did that, maybe they would have sent him to diversity training and sensitivity training.
Yes.
That's not going to work because
he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. Yeah, they don't. Sensitivity and diversity training doesn't work. I think, to be honest with you, one of the things that helped me become the accepting person that I am is partially the way I grew up and being fucking picked on once in a while by the shitty fucking white kids in this town.
Yep.
But one of the things that helped me be accepting of people was, I joined the military, and you're forced into being in a diverse environment, with people from all over the country, all different kinds of backgrounds, and you're forced to get along. Doesn't matter where they came from, doesn't matter how they grew up. You're a unit, and you have to get along. Over the course of time, you learn where they come from, how they grew up, and and you still have to get along, and you're taught to get along, because you're all in this situation together, experiencing this military together, and you get along, because it's going to fail if you don't.
It's very true. Don't fail.
Don't fail.
Don't be a piece of shit. Be a good human being.
But I'm a proponent of the military and serving the military for many reasons, not just serving your country, but for travel, for the diversity, for the experience, the training, for getting some self-confidence. That's one of the things that the military gives you. You went partially experienced that with the Indian Police Academy.
I did.
It's a paramilitary academy, and it's run in a military manner. And
it's a very good time. It's the hardest thing I ever did. It's the best thing I ever did.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's see. Boot camp was probably, man, it probably was the hardest thing I ever did.
Yeah.
And I would do it again.
Yeah.
Now, looking back on it, when I was there, I hated it. I wanted to quit. I wanted to leave. I even called my mother at one point halfway through saying, "Mom, I'm going to quit."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Don't quit. You're halfway through. Finish it up." And looking back now, I would do it again because it's just a game.
Yeah, I would too. That's all it is. I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be just like everybody else, and I still don't.
Yeah.
The discipline was
good,
pretty awesome.
The camaraderie, the competition was what I liked about it too.
And the chicks.
And I didn't have. No chicks were.
Yeah, you were in the Navy. Yeah.
Yeah.
But be the best person you can be. Be the hero of your own story.
Yeah.
I always try to treat tomorrow, today, like this is. I'm writing a story. I'm the hero. And this is the part where I start to realize that, and the story really starts to get good.
Yeah.
I try to live every day like that.
We're doing something out of our comfort zone now, both of us, with the play.
Yeah. Come and watch Ruined at the Montana Actors Theater at MSU Northern the end of March. Beginning of March.
Yep. And, I've never acted a day in my life.
I never did either.
Not only are we acting, but we're having to take on a accent.
Yeah.
Compounding the difficulty of it. And, I am still nervous. I'm excited about it, but I'm still nervous because I've never done it before, and I don't know how it's going to go.
Yeah. We just have to see how it goes.
Yep.
So.
Indeed. All right.
Support your local Montana Actors Theater. Come and check out Ruined.
Indeed.
With Merrill Gray and Bob Walker.
And, yeah.
In the meantime, go fuck yourselves.
Go fuck yourselves. And if you don't agree with anything that we had to say here, again, go fuck yourselves.
Yeah. Either come and talk about it, or talk to somebody else about it and become a better human being.
Or come, even give us a. We should have set up a website where they could contact and make a comment or something.
They can make comments on the videos on the Ustream page, www.ustream.tv/channel/small-minds-small, or small towns, small minds, with a hyphen between those last four words.
You lost me there. You might want to repeat that.
Yeah, it's www.ustream.tv/channel/small-towns-small-minds. Yeah, and then I'll get these videos uploaded on the YouTube channel too, so you could just search Small Town, Small Minds, and you'll see the little blue skeleton with a tiny brain in it.
So they can go to Google and put in just Google Ustream small town, small mines.
Small towns, small mines.
Small towns,
Yeah,
small
towns.
mines.
It'll pop up, and you could watch it, and you could leave a comment. And
Yeah, comment. Give us something to talk about, or tell us who you are, and you can maybe come and speak with us and join us
yeah,
at one point, maybe, if we want you to.
share the love. Love
Share
each
the
other.
love.
Praise Jah. Praise Odin.
Don't listen to that at all. He's going to hell. So
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I'm an atheist.
yeah.
Don't
So.
listen to me.
But anyway, be healthy.
Be healthy.
Take care of yourself. Love yourself, and
Hug random people.
hug random people. And
Big kiss.
yeah, take care of your kids. Don't be shit parents.
Right.
I think we're done.
Yeah. So go to sleep, everybody.
Night night.
It's getting late.